Hey, what's up, everybody? I had hoped that beat was longer, but I'm ready. I guess I'm ready. Today is Sunday morning, where I am, but wherever you are, happy morning, afternoon, or evening. This is for Black Righteous Folks Home, or for Black for short. We are going to have a really important conversation. So much, so important that I even wrote down my opening for this live, and I normally don't. I just kind of fumble along trying to find my words, but I felt like this conversation really needed me to really specify specifics, because I saw a live last night, y'all, on Genesis platform, and I could not believe the ridiculousness regarding our identity, regarding the facts that people just don't want us to belong in America, that are Pan-Africans. They don't want us being proud to be here. They don't want us claiming our identity. Now, my title is Black American Identity, Bastardized, by Kamala Harris and Immigrants. Today, this is a big issue with Indigenous Black Americans maintaining their own specific ethnicity. Why is that? How could that be? What am I talking about? Am I losing my mind? Have I bumped my head? We have deliberately been disrespected by liars such as Kamala Harris, using our identity for political gains. And it's absolutely disgusting. And I'm not flattered at all for her bastardizing our identity and then discard it whenever she has gained her VP position, and now for being selected as a presidential nominee. In addition, Black foreigners from other continents, other islands, other places migrate to America and decide that it's cool to usurp our ethnicity by calling themselves African Americans and Black Americans when they have their own specific ethnicity, or they are aware that their parents originated from another place. And because they were born here, somehow they feel like they should be able to use our names. So it really comes to mind about how many real Indigenous Black Americans really are in America. Now, these people are fraudsters, in my opinion. They are usurping our lineage, our history, everything connected to us. And I believe that they do know that they don't share the same history or plight, yet they continue to call themselves by our government issued name. And that is why we are needing to really delineate from, and it's no disrespect, it's just that we need our own ethnicity just like everybody else has theirs. And, bastardizing our identity is getting on my last nerve. Now, the usage of Black also has brought on so much confusion by others in America, because Black is Black Americans' ethnicity, name in America, not Jamaican, not Haitian, not Nigerian, not Ghanaians, etc., like that. Yet these immigrants think it's okay to say they're Black also, when it has never been used until recently. I would guess maybe the last 20 or so years, this term has been now utilized by the immigrant. I remember when I was in college in the 90s, early 90s, and that's when I had a lot of conversations with Africans about who they were, where they came from, and they would tell me proudly and boldly that they weren't Black. They had a tribe, and they would tell me where they came from, what their tribe was, and all those types of things. So I really thought in my head in the early 90s that nobody would dare touch our identities, because they would have so much pride about where they came from. But that's not true today. There's so many people that's not prideful about where they came from. They pretend like they're prideful, but they're not at all. And so they think it's okay to say they're African American when they know damn well they never set foot in America until the last 20 years or so. And it's ridiculous that they think that it's cool to do. So we're going to go through this ridiculous video of Kala, and we're going to go to that. Now, the immigrants also use Indigenous Black American name for benefits, and also benefits from they get specific to their own identity as well. So in other words, they're claiming to be us, and then they go back and revert back to a Jamaican or a Haitian or wherever they come from when they are special set-asides that's specific to them. So they're double and triple dipping sometimes by using our identity and then using their identity. And so it has become like a fraud. And I just can't believe how fucked up Black people are in this world to think that Black Americans are not deserving of their own specific ethnicity. The nerve, the audacity of these immigrants to continually do this. And we're going to showcase where this is coming from, because I'm really upset about it. Now, all immigrants, first and second generations, know they aren't a part of Indigenous Black Americans, yet claim the lineage, history, culture, whenever they like, which bastardizes Black Americans' identity, bringing confusion. And this, they're being dishonest as individuals. And then these same individuals most likely turn around and claim that we Indigenous Black Americans don't have culture, we don't have identity, we're not a people, we're not anything. They would like to keep us in the mindset of a slave. And we're going to talk about that. Now, how is this? Well, to me, these people are clowns who have decided to hijack and use Black Americans' identity. So we're going to discuss why delineation is a must. So let me say hello to everybody in the chat room before I go forward. Thank you all for appearing. What's up, Miss D? What's up to everybody in the clouds? If you have not yet, please like and share the video. Please subscribe to my channel. And as a disclaimer, I would like to say that I am not Islamophobic at all. I don't hate anyone ever unless you hate me. I don't have any venom in my heart for nobody, but I just find it peculiar that it's so easy for the likes of Kamala and everybody just to bastardize our name. Now, I know that a lot of people probably haven't heard that word of bastardized before, so I want to start off with letting you guys hear the definition of it, because again, when I heard the word, I was like, that's exactly what is going on with us. And so let me start off with that, the definition of bastardized. And whenever you hear these immigrants that come around pretending to cosplay us, I feel like we should correct them immediately. Do not delay. Tell them and check them and say, you're not us. You are an immigrant. You come from wherever you come from. That's what you are. That other space on the application that says other was designated for you. And these people come over here playing dumb like they don't understand what that means. So here is the definition of bastardized.
Bastardize. To claim or demonstrate that someone is a bastard or illegitimate. To reduce from a higher to a lower state, to the base. To introduce the base elements into. B-A-S-T-A-R-D-I-Z-E.
Okay, so we know that Kamala Harris damn well is not a freaking African American, not a freaking Black American. Nothing about her is reminiscent of a Black American at all whatsoever. But what is she doing? Running around talking about cooking greens, running around talking about she's hanging out, dancing, and doing all these quirky things. I'm going to try to play this one video. Let me find this video of her looking really stupid. But there's just so much of this going on that I'm so frustrated with these people that is claiming to be us. And we didn't ask for all this this attention that people try to bring to us. I wish they would just stop it already. And I hope that we get offended by Kamala Harris and not vote for her, because again, she should know better, but she doesn't care because it's a speedy way to get her way. Now, here we go.
Never fails. Every election year, what do? The first thing they do is they start showing up at your churches. Then they start throwing rallies, inviting your favorite hip-hop artists and other black entertainers. Then they start sending their black flunkies out on the social media to stir up fear. Vote for the Democrats or else. They invite some black people to the VP's house and play some Sexy Red. They throw a Juneteenth barbecue backyard bash. They want to relate to you. They want to show you that they down with you, that they like you. And what do? We fall for it.
So I know how to make a mean fried greens. In fact, people used to ask me to make greens for their Christmas. One year, I had...
Again, I'm pretty sure that this woman does not make greens in her whole entire life, but because it's speedy to get our vote by cosplaying us, and a lot of people just allow the disrespect, and I'm just sick of y'all allowing this. Now, this other video I'm about to show, before I get to the main video, I'm just trying to set the premise of what I mean about bastardizing our identity. Here is a video of two men that are from Ghana. Okay, from Ghana. Not born in America. They can't use that excuse. They're from Ghana, but one has moved to America and has become a, citizen of America. And this video is posted with it saying African Americans must learn this from Rush Ashlar on land disputes in Ghana. Now, let's see what the beginning of this video states. They're both Ghanaians, so there's absolutely no reason for him to be calling this man an African American, but this is what he's about to do.
This guy is called Rush Ashari. He's an African American who is currently living in Ghana.
Again, he is not an African American. He is not a Black American. He is a Ghanaian American. Why can't y'all respect our ethnicity and leave us the fuck alone? Listen to it again. I just can't stand these people that are liars.
This guy is called Rush Ashari. He's an African American who is currently living in Ghana. He has a couple of businesses and he's also into real estate. Let's react to his video today.
A lot of people think that it's the locals that's unscrupulous.
Now you hear his accent. He's a Ghanaian. Why is he calling this man an African American who wasn't even born in America? And even if you were born in America, I would hope that you wouldn't use that name because you still would be Ghanaian American. But it's so easy to use our name, plug our name for clicks and views and say whatever just to get over. This does not make no sense.
It's not trying to cheat people, but this situation is a bit different. This is somebody like myself who's live outside and just try to use money to take something that's not theirs. Using brutal force. I'm going to let you know how to...
Again, using our identity is the issue. And this is why ADOS and FBA, or me calling myself and declaring my name as Indigenous Black American, is so necessary, because we have these ruly immigrants that come over here and think that it's okay to use our name for their own benefits and their own purposes, bastardizing our name like it's a hoe, like to use up and spit out whenever you want. And this has to stop, y'all. So this next video that I'm about to showcase, again, it comes from Kala Genesis Radio. And we're going to go over another Ghanaian who thinks because he's an American that he now has the right to self-declare himself as an African American. So my question to y'all listening, how many real indigenous Black Americans are there if these type of fraudsters are using our name so much? We're going to get to that segment in just a little bit, but I want to start a little bit earlier before it starts into him talking about his desire or his declaration that he has a right to the African American name. I could not believe I heard him say that, and it had my blood boiling. So we're going to go a little bit further back to catch the gist of this live. This live, again, was about, of course, Pan-Africans who have a stick up their ass because they're upset because we don't want to fuck with Pan-Africans. We don't believe the frauding of Americans. We see that everything that people are asking of us to do is taking from us, bankrupting us, and leaving us with nothing with the scams and the defrauding and bankrupting that they're doing. So the thing is, y'all, there has not been no building done in America for such a long time. How in God's green earth can these people that call themselves Pan-Africans assume, because they never built anything in America, that we're supposed to believe somehow that they can build in Africa, though? But that's where all the scamming comes in, because someone comes up with a bright idea. Someone says, oh, we need to pull money together, and someone collects that money, and then they run off with the money, and the people that trusted them are burnt, is what's happening. So this is why we are not down for Pan-Africans. We're not trusting in any of that. Let me see what you're saying before I start this. We're not trusting in any of that. We're just not going to do it. So I would hope that the Pan-Africans would get a clue and just move on with yourselves. Go find Africans that believe how you claim they believe, y'all believe, and go have at it and build something in Africa and shut the fuck up and move on. But stop trying to include us in the festivities of your mess. So this lie was initially trying to ridicule anyone delineating from wanting to be a part of a block of Black, which basically erases our ethnicity. And people don't understand why that's problematic, because, again, they all get to benefit off of us staying the slave to everybody. And that's what needs to change. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat room before I start this live or this video that I'm about to showcase. But it is under fair use, y'all. I hope fair use under 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976 for education, observation, and research, and all the above. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Let me get to the chat room real quick. I appreciate anyone and everybody for being here. I know that I have a lot of looky-loos, a lot of people that are haters, and even a lot of Africans that are actually watching. But I hope that you guys would start sharing the memo and discouraging these Africans and these other groups of people from coming over here trying to assume and usurp our identity. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Miss D says, right, it's weird. First and second generation think just because they was born here, they are us. Black is our ethnicity. And when they call themselves that, they saying they went through slavery and Jim Crow. Exactly, Miss D. It's like, did your family go through all these things for all these generations over here? It's pretty easy to understand that if they did not, and y'all just got over here, that you're not us. That it's okay to choose the box that says other and fill it out on what you are. That's what the box is used for other. But no, these Africans and these immigrants want to come over here and say, oh, we don't want to be othered. We want to just be like them. And we're going to just click off the box and call ourselves them and say we're them when we're not. And it's disrespectful because you guys are erasing our ethnicity when you're sharing our ethnicity with us. We don't want that no more. Okay, so Miss D also says you can't call yourself Black because you have no history here. and you can't share someone's history, but that's what they've been doing. That's what Kamala Harris is doing. That's what every other Obama did. Everybody under the sun think it's cute, think it's flattering. And I'm just really over it. You also said the government allowed this, but the paperwork get their ass every time. They know that they're not us. They know that they are other than us, but they don't want to choose the other. How you doing, Monique? You said, hello, I'm doing good right now. Miss D says, we're not xenophobic because we are not the same people, but everyone is equally human and deserve respect. Exactly. That's all I'm saying. But whenever we say we want to delineate, whenever we say and point out what is going on, what we're noticing, what we're seeing, what's being displayed in front of our faces, and we're understanding now that people really are hijacking and usurping the term African American for their own usage to benefit themselves monetarily for the moment. And then they discard it and use their identity that they originally have any other time. And they think they can dip in and out of our identity. That's why it's bastardized. And then people turn around with this big argument. Oh, Black Americans are lost. They're confused. They don't know who they are. No, y'all brought the confusion here. You motherfuckers are confused. Miss D says, especially West Africans, stop harassing us about our identity. It's ridiculous. They think that they have authority over our identity. They think that they're supposed to tell us what to do and all of that. Look at Trump. Our Kevian says, look, yeah, I'm down for Trump, so you don't have to worry about that. Miss D says, no African said or say they African American because they are Africans living in America. Weird. The term African American was given to us by Jesse Jackson, not our choice. Again, it is propaganda for the usage. I hate the term African American overall, but for people just to use it for the sake of gain and bastardizing our identity when it does not have to be, it's a crying shame. Monique says, I hate this as well because when I was in Ghana, they put fire on my feet constantly. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Monique. You have to tell me more about what you went through. And what's up, Charles? How are you doing? So we're now going to get to this ridiculous live. I was almost called in, and that's why my voice is a little bit raspy because I've been yelling a little bit earlier today with some other content creator that I had to get at. But I really want to get through this live. I'm really frustrated with how immigrants are running around saying that they're us and then turn around talking about we're confused and we don't have no community. We don't have no culture. Well, we would have if you would just leave us alone. Leave us be. Okay? We were fine without you. We've been fine without you. We don't need you. So let's get to this fair use, fair use.
That's right. I'm a descendant of African people, not a slave.
That word enslaved. That word enslaved.
Enslaved. You understand what? See, Colin know what I'm saying. Enslaved, not slave. That means you were a perpetual slave.
Black people never had slavery status. See, we never did. We were in.
I'm a descendant of enslaved people, but I'm not a descendant of a slave. That's like putting yourself in a permanent class. That's why I agree more with FBA. It sounds more truer to what, just in the name. I don't know nothing about it, but foundational Black America, because the whole world is built on Black foundation. So America wouldn't be nothing different. But as far as the ADOS, that don't even... It's not computing. It don't even sound right.
Again, for those that don't know what ADOS is American Descendants of Slavery. FBA is Foundational Black American. Those are declared identities on social media. I have not heard it go beyond social media, but a whole lot of people are calling themselves this to separate themselves and have a distinction that's only specific to our group of people, because we keep seeing so many people using our identity that we feel like we got to make a new one up. And that's a crying shame that we have to use and make up a whole nother identity so that we cannot lose sight of who we are because of what immigrants are doing, using our name, bastardizing our name. Let's go.
They say American, one of the African descendants of slavery, you know? African, they basically want to be Americans, but they say my status is a slave. Come on, that don't sound right. That's not uplifting.
And that's why I don't like ADOS, because to start your whole name from slavery as if you have not accomplished past slavery. We have overcome slavery. We overcome Jim Crow. We overcome all the different things that have happened. We didn't stay a slave. So I don't agree with the name ADOS. I agree better with FBA, but because Tariq Nasheed, who is the author or the founder of FBA, seems to be a grifter to me, I'm not claiming either nor. I just declare my own identity as being indigenous Black Americans, and I'm trying to implore other Black Americans to do your own declaration, get it notary signed, so that you can, feel better about yourself. Because again, it's not cool to know that people are using your name for their own sick purposes.
I see what you're saying about the slave part, but the American part is that they're saying that they're descendants of enslaved people from the United States of America. We're considered Americans, whether we like it or not. We have American passports.
What is an American? America is what? America versus an American. I don't believe you could be a person. This is my personal opinion. May not agree with this. Don't hate me for this, right? America came from the guy, explorer called Amerigo Vespucci. You know.
Now this guy right here talking is the host of the show, Kala. He is a Pan-African who's been a Pan-African for like 35 years, so he claims, and he wants to make the argument that we're not really American. And that's all they keep trying to do, is undermine our Americanness, undermine our identity that is our birthright. And these Pan-Africans are fucking clowns because they want us to have no name but a slave. And I'm not agreeing with none of that. So peep this, y'all.
And so therefore, white people who went to the New World, North and South, we'll call Americans. These are people that ventured off to the New World voluntarily, right? Now, Black people culturally have always been American because we're here in this country, we live around that, we're Americans, right? But when you talk about a true American, right? Remember, the Irish weren't considered Americans until the turn of the 20th century. They were considered Irishmen. They called them Irishmen. A German was called a German, you know? And Native Americans were called Indians. They weren't called Native Americans. They were called Indian. Native Americans is something they started in the 70s and 80s, you know, Native American, you know. So in other words, basically the idea of America is really the Anglo-Saxon, you know, and everybody else is basically a variation of that with America if they say so, you know.
So if you listen to him, you would just have no confidence or self-worth within yourself, because in his mind, you're still just a slave that came from a African boat. And like I said, many of us were already here. There were Black Indians here that were reclassified into Negro, slaves, freedmen, mulatto, colored, and so forth. That's the truth. But people don't want us claiming anything towards America. They want us to stay with the mindset of a slave, or they're trying to recreate us into a slave. Pan-Africans is trying to do this.
I think you mentioned the point. I think it's, instead of nationality, it's more so of like a geographical location within the North American continent.
Well, it's the United States of America, right? There's no place called America.
I mean the North American continent, the continental plate.
Yeah, now you have North America. People who came to North America were mostly European settlers, you know, and then you have the indigenous population of this country, and then you have the Africans who were brought here over in the transatlantic slave trade, you know. And so,
okay, so it's fair to say the foundational Black.
But we never had a foundation. We never had a foundation in America.
Oh, the Black. So what is the right terminology? Because it's wrong to say
Well, I would say
America, because North America also includes Canada.
We're Africans that have a culture, 400-year-old culture inside of America. So it basically means that we retain some more Africanness, our race and everything like that, but we also live in America. We have the American reality. In other words, basically, there's certain things that happen in America you probably won't even pick up on. You know, certain foods, certain expressions that's unique to America. You know, when you go to, if I went to Italy, and they would not understand everything I'm saying. You know, okay, American. Let's say if I meet a white person from the United States in Italy, we could have a joke or talk about something we're not getting from the same country.
I mean, pretty much the national identity is what really bonds you together, pretty much, right?
So, you know,
national identity and culture, pretty much, like within the nation state.
Well, that's why people said it's just the 1800s called the term African American. You know, that means we're the Africans, the Americans of African descent. You know,
I reject African Americans because we only know of America. That ship has sailed. If there was an ancestor that was from Africa, that ship has sailed. We have morphed and have changed into a whole new people. We are multi-raced at this point. We're not culturally African anymore. Okay? That ancestor was betrayed, was left for dead. So I don't claim that African because y'all kicked my ancestor out on the ear if I have one from Africa. So you don't get me claiming you too. So I reject African American, but that term was governmentally given to us against our will. And again, even though I don't like the term, I don't like immigrants using our name that's been issued to us. Because again, you're saying we're no people. We don't have an ethnicity. We're not specific like everybody else is. And that's a problem.
Black African descent.
But here's where the confusion comes into play, too. Because the Africans coming, the recent migrant of Africans coming to the continent.
They're from their own country.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, wait.
But they still call themselves African American a lot of times. Especially on documentation.
I correct. I say you're not African American, you're Ghanaian.
Now listen to this Ghanaian guy who's about to argue that's from Ghana and say that he is an African American. They're all doing it.
I mean, work. Put that on government documents.
You can't call yourself an African American. That's a specific ethnicity that you have to have a history in this country.
No. You can say that because if you come from continental Africa, the definition of
Africa, you have a history. See, that's where the ADOS movement is right about. You know, you can't just say I'm African American. That means you're laying claim to the achievements and the stuff that happened.
No, but if someone was born here, he's a naturalized American. Wait. Nationality.
American, they may be American, U.S. citizen, right? Just like, let me give you an example. White people in South Africa, I call them white South Africans, right? They're citizens of the Republic of South Africa. They're not Africans, you know? Somebody said the other day, Elon Musk is an African American. No, he's not. He's a white South African. He's not African American, you know? He's not African American. He's a white.
If he's a white South African coming from the continent, why can't we?
He's not. And that's another thing. You got white people who are born on the continent, right? Who are now being like the Miss Zimbabwe is a blonde, blue-eyed woman, you know, white woman. You know, she was born here. But the only group of people that do this are people who are continent.
No, Colin. I think you mentioned a point, right? Because we're talking about legality right now. When it comes to
again, legality-wise. Reparation talk and all that is under the banner of African American. What does a Ghanaian American have to do with reparations here in America? He has nothing to do with it. He was his people bloodline were the ones that were enslaving Africans. So why would he claim that lineage? Think about that. But he thinks it's his right to claim that African American term, even though he has his own fucking identity. He's a Ghanaian American, and he does not think that that's worthy enough to say.
If the legality is wrong, it's wrong. You know, the bottom line is, and this is where
you can't just speak from a historical point of view.
Could really
just dismiss legality issues, no?
Oh, hold on. Legality issue is this, right? When people come here to this country, right, you're an immigrant, right? You're an immigrant. You don't have a history in this country. You know, that means you're new.
No, if you have a passport, right?
It doesn't matter.
Wait. It means something because when you get into issue,
that'll mean you can go. So, like I said, you got a lot of Nigerians who got American passports. They go around the world telling them that people they're Black Americans.
And again, these Western Africans have a tendency to feel like they should be able to use our identity because they can hustle. They can double dip. They can say 1 minute I'm Ghanaian, and if there's some set-asides from Ghanaian people, they can get that. And if they're claiming African American, they can get in line and say, oh, I'm an African American too. That shit has to stop. And that's why delineation must occur.
So they get treated better.
They're gonna say they're Americans. Of course they're Americans.
But they're not Americans. They're Nigerians.
No, they are Americans because Obama's
American passport.
And the Africans feel like that they're more American than we are. You have Pan-Africans saying that we're not American, but these Africans that just got here to America 10, 20 years ago, talking about they're American too. They're not the same as us, though. We're not the fucking same.
When I was saying he's Kenyan American,
Obama may be a Kenyan American, you know. He's not one of us, you know.
Well,
had we had the mindset we had now, Obama would never got elected. You know, that's the one thing the so-called ADOS movement I do agree with.
In any case, if Trump can just qualify as white American, because even his dad, his great granddad, just recent migrants to themselves.
Yeah, but that's white people though. That's white. That's power.
Oh, well, the same issue applies to Africans too.
No, you can't just come up with bullshit.
Again, a scam culture is what Africans have in West Africa. They always looking to see how they can benefit off of whatever. And they don't understand that they're being disrespectful. It's not flattering to call themselves our name. It's not respectful at all.
No, you can't do that, bro. You can't do that, man. Y'all want to bum rush to take their
They can have citizenship.
with your forks and knives in your jacket, eat one night and they take plates on and they'll clean up or nothing. He's not one of those types where he shows party with his fork and knife in this jacket pocket.
And they think it's fun and games. They really think, let me take a break because it's so annoying. Let's look at this latest ad, I think, that Trump did against Kamala Harris. I think it's a really well did advertisement.
This is the Jim Heath Channel playlist of 2024 campaign ads.
I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. You're considered the most liberal United States senator. Actually, the nonpartisan GovTrack has rated you as the most liberal senator.
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
We are going to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals. That's correct. That is correct. A lot of the signs at the rally you just held were people standing there saying, abolish ICE. Yeah, is that a position that you agree with? We need to probably think about starting from scratch.
So you support giving universal health care, Medicare for all people who are in this country illegally?
I am opposed to any policy that would deny in our country any human being public health, period. Are you for defunding the police? How are you defining defund the police? It's actually wrong and backward to think that more police officers will create more safety. We get rid of money bail.
Convicted, in prison, like the Boston Marathon bomber, on death row, people who are convicted of sexual assault, they should be able to vote?
I think we should have that conversation. I am prepared to get rid of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal. I have always supported Medicare for all. I was very happy to sign on to Bernie's bill, and I give Bernie, frankly, a lot of credit. There's no question I'm in favor of banning crack. Do you ban plastic straws? I think we should.
Again, if nobody knows, she's for immigration. She's for open borders. She has created this crisis where immigrants are flooding all over the place. And she's going to keep this same mindset if you guys elect her. So I thought I should squeeze that in, and I will be squeezing in other videos pertaining to Harris. Again, the cosplayer of African American, Black American. She's not us though, but it seems to be the thing to do these days. So just keep that in mind. If you guys have not yet, please like, share, subscribe to my channel. Let's get back to this conversation where our identity obviously has been usurped and people think it's okay to do, and it's all fun and games.
Well, I'm more civilized than that level, man.
That's the average African, man.
Oh, for real?
You're hungry.
Oh, man.
Come on, man.
That's crazy.
A lot of black people say, yo, bro, slow down, man. You know, we know y'all want to bum rush the coast and get over here and whatnot, but damn, can we get a little bit of a thing of this country? We fought for this country and whatnot. We should get some of this too, you know. But I think Yvette Carnell, instead of doing black empowerment, she's doing a shortcut to the reparation movement.
Yeah,
look, I would not have a problem with Yvette Carnell, even with the ADOS spoon, which I can't stand, right? If she did not come out.
Kala. If I came from the African continent and I became an American citizen, I have every right to call myself Ghanaian American or African American. Because
again, what is wrong with him just being a Ghanaian American? He doesn't have a right to call himself our name, but they think that they have a right to be able to usurp her and hijack our identity. This is why I don't like some West Africans. They're very disrespectful and they're fraudulent and scammers. And this is a scamming ass Ghanaian, if I'm saying it right.
By definition, no, I can claim my conscience as well because that's how they call me over here anyway.
Bro, you're Ghanaian.
No, wait. When I walk around, people don't call me Ghanaian; they call me African. So if I become an American citizen, I become
whatever. You're African, but you're not American.
No, I'm American citizen. That's not what I mean. I'm not attaching the historical part of it. I'm saying by legal.
But he is. If you're using the same name that we have been issued, you're saying I experience or these people that's over here's experience. I'm them. He's not us. He comes from a bloodline of slave trading. Why would he want to share our name? But again, it benefits him to be able to be flexible, to be able to dip and dip out. We don't have that flexibility. This is what's wrong about our name being bastardized.
But the bottom line is, what Yvette Carnell did say this, I agree with, right? She says
that's what makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Because we have the rights to use that.
And another problem is they don't know how to shut the fuck up and just listen. They're so busy trying to tell Americans what to think and how to be. And he's trying to fight for our name that was issued by the damn government when he has his own identity. This is the disrespect that I'm talking about of West Africans.
Acknowledge the African.
Hold on. That's our continent. Here's the problem, right? Like Yvette Carnell and FBI, they got some legitimate moves. If they ever stuck to legitimate stuff that they about, when they could do something, but they don't stick with it. They want to attack Pan-Africanism and Black empowerment. One thing they said that was really true, I believe, when you have colleges like Howard and Harvard and everything, when they said, well, we want diversity and everything like that, we want some black people, right? They don't, and they say we want to make up for past grievances and stuff like this, right? They're gonna pick a Nigerian or Ghanaian. They didn't suffer in America. You gotta get somebody who's descendant of suffering in America. That's what I agree with, you know.
Yeah, I agree with a lot with ADOS.
Yeah, I just don't like. I don't like the way they put it. You know, they just made it around reparation. In other words, basically, just stop everything we're doing, the Black Empowerment movement, and focus on so-called reparations. And they made.
In my opinion, our identity is more important than reparations at this point because I feel as if it's only being used as a carrot to try to make us feel some kind of way or do something, manipulate us, in other words, knowing damn well they have no intention of giving us reparations. So I think that our identity can be accomplished a lot quicker than reparations. And we have got to shut down these West Africans and other immigrants that feel like they are obligated to hijack our identity, like it's no issue at all with it. And I'm just calling y'all out.
Now, some things that they're talking about, like, let me give you an example. Are the ALSFPA really committed towards education? I don't think so. Because she would have made that her.
No, but Carla, it's not a whole. It's a movement. I define an identity.
No, it's a troll.
Wait. Once you have
don't say that, Carla.
Once there's a unanimous consensus.
So you saw what you said about Dr. Coyerson, you know?
You know what? When I look at a lot of people, Tariq Nasheed, Yvette Cardinal, and other people, all I have to do is look back in the 1960s, how many different civil rights groups there were that were trying to fight for better for their people, but they all didn't agree with each other. I could look up Malcolm X bashing James Baldwin, bashing Farmer, bashing Martin Luther King, and I could look up MLK bashing the same people. But they bashed each other, but they were all bashing each other with the objective to try to get things done for Black people, whether they were more radical or whether they were nonviolent.
Let me ask you a question, right? On that point, right? Now, Dr. Coyerson, the powernomics is a good idea, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so but her whole thing was we can't do powernomics at all. It's a waste of time.
That's her belief.
Yeah, so when she has that belief, right, and she coupled it with ADOS ADOS movement, that's the problem. You know, that's the problem I had. Because she was saying that she does not believe in Black economic power. And also the people that
it doesn't matter that we descended from slaves, that everybody else has their own specific identity. We need to have our own specific identity as well. A Haitian should not be able to come over here that's been Haitian and talking about I'm an African American or Black American. They should come over here still being a Haitian because that's how they started. So miss me with the dumb shit, okay?
These right-wing groups and whatnot who basically like, damn, we're not invited to the fucking cookout no more. We can't speak about Black. The Black people have given up over the years before Evan Cardinal came over. Black people had, especially during the Obama era, Black people had really given up, became apolitical. We started focusing on Black Wall Street, buying Black, and we became very insular among ourselves and everything. And it was working. Black businesses were, record number of Black businesses were created over the last 10 years, you know? And so therefore, they're saying, Black people start saying, you know something? Maybe we don't need to vote. Maybe we don't need the Democrats, or maybe we could look at the Republican Party as an alternative. Maybe we could form our own political party. We start thinking on that level. Maybe we should see what we could build with Africa. You know, we could do Pan-African work, you know? So when you're economically free and everything, like, you could think like that. So her goal was to stop all that, you know, by saying, no, we can't do that. Like the Black empowerment movement, no, we can't. You know, like this, it's a waste of time. Just what she said, it's a waste of time. You know, trying to do for self. She basically said Elijah Muhammad, all of them were failures. Elijah Muhammad, Nation of Islam built a lot of Black businesses, you know?
And I would disagree with her. The only thing that I'm saying is that she says some shit that we don't agree with. We can acknowledge that we don't agree with everything that she says, but a lot of what she said is true.
Well, of course, it's common sense. I've said that for years. I said, how is it that somebody can get off the boat or plane and whatnot, and like I said, come to the freaking cookout and whatnot with no, you always bring something. And I have my Liberian peeps and whatnot.
Hey, Kyla, you got to bring.
Hey, Zango, when you show up to somebody's cookout, do you bring something?
Yeah, of course.
I hope you bring something.
You gotta bring something, man. You know, you gotta bring something to the table. You know.
Well, I mean, if
Tyler, what I would say is, in the same way that you disagree with Yvette Cardinal, the same way that you would disagree with Yvette Cardinal, I would say I disagree with Martin Luther King telling us to get our ass whooped and keep getting our ass whooped.
Yeah, I disagree with that too. You know.
Hey, Kyla,
doesn't stop the fact that he was doing great work.
Yeah, he just made some mistake. He corrected himself later on. You know, he said, "Well, yeah, I think that was a mistake what I was talking about." You know.
Yeah. Where's Zango?
So somebody's name says, "Take your version of Black empowerment to the app."
No, I was saying like this. You got like two people on the backstage waiting.
Yeah, I got Chantel want to get in. Shit.
somebody up. I'll drop.
What about DP?
No, I got a premium account, bro. I could have many people I want now.
Oh, maybe she left. She was asking to get in.
I'll put
she and Dollar Bill. What about Dollar Bill? Dollar Bill wanted to say something?
Yeah, Dollar Bill. We ain't heard from him. He would want to debate me on Jay Morrison.
What about the guy with this one, DPP? Who is that?
Oh, Jay Morrison. That's a scammer, man. Real.
Now look. Now you call him a criminal was unfair. When he acknowledged his life was out in the streets before he got into the thing. But hold up. Like I said, I look at things like realistic. A lot of black people. I remember when it happened. When it first Jay Morrison came out, I first got on Dynasty Show, right? And people asked me, "Carl, what do you think about Jay Morrison?" I said, "Look, it's not a get rich quick scheme. Several people, the BAO members, that paid the $500 did that, right? And I educated them that it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's a long term. You own part of something. You know, if it grows a real estate portfolio, you own part of a real estate portfolio, and you may get dividends. You know, there were some people who thought that when they put that $500, they're gonna be getting all this money. You know, they didn't understand.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know because I was trying to get online and my mic was giving me some problems. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I said before that it was not a real investment. And Jay Morrison himself was not qualified to get that kind of investment. So I'm telling you it was a scam. And many people have gone on to prove that it was a scam. Those type of investments are called REITs or real estate investment. That's not a REIT.
So you don't think Grant Cardone's a scammer?
Yeah, sure do.
Well, people are making money off Grant Cardone because
and that's the problem that we're having with trying to trust people to pull money with. All they have been are scammers. There has not been a successful person yet that has propped up whatever idea that they've had and have seen it through. Even Umar Johnson, another Pan-African who's been lying about this boys' school, has not brought out of school, and it's been over 14 years. How can we trust Pan-Africans? We can't. We're not.
For pockets,
he is a scammer.
Jay Morris.
It doesn't have to do with your black or white. It's the fact that our people have a real problem with trusting each other already. And because we have a problem with trusting each other, things like
and we ought to have problems trusting each other because, again, there has not been real leadership. There are a lot of people that are depleted of morality and morals and integrity. And it's just a crying shame. It's like they're just feeding off of the community. These predator type of men that are Pan-Africans and other types of scammers talking about let's unify, let's build, let's do this. And they end up running off into the sunset with millions upon millions of dollars. This is all that we keep saying. Nobody is building in America nothing other than running off with our money. And it's a crying shame that we have so many corrupted people that's in the community, but that's all that we got. Wannabe pimps. That's it. Grifters and wannabe pimps.
Jay Morrison and scammers, it profoundly affects our community worse. Not to say that they're the only scammers. There are plenty of white scammers out there. So the idea was not a good idea because it wasn't a proper idea. And it was by a guy who admitted that he was a criminal who sold crack to his own father. I mean, we have to get beyond stupidity.
But let me ask you a question, right?
Ask me anything,
fairness, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that there's any possibility that somebody could come along in the black community and really put out? Me personally, I don't believe in getting in business with black people like that I don't know. You know, I just don't believe it. I don't believe in taking money.
And we won't be knowing anybody. Nobody is not known. Nobody is put on a pedestal to trust. I have not seen not one person that their word is bond. They say one thing and they do another. They switch up on what they're going to do and how they do, and all they seem to do is continue to scam us one way or the other.
People saying invest in this and invest in that. You got to have a lot of balls to say, look, I got this project in Africa, please invest in whatnot. You know, I got this school I'm going to try to build and whatnot. You know, no pun intended, nobody, you know. I got this school I'm trying to build and whatnot. Or I got this museum I'm trying to build. I can't do that, you know. I am my conscience. I cannot do that, you know. But there's some people that can, you know. And so what I mean is when I listen to Jay Morris, I believe he was sincere, you know.
I don't.
Hold on. But I just believe he was in over his head, you know.
No, I believe he was a scammer from the very beginning, and that he was a con man, a confidence man, playing the game on black people. And that's what it was.
Dude, man. But when I look at people who are scamming, man, you could tell him. I looked at him very closely. You know, observed him many times.
Well, you didn't look close enough, Colin.
You know, like this. I say like this. The guy was absolutely serious about what he was trying to do.
Yeah,
but hold on,
serious.
But here's my whole thing. His things collapsed during COVID, right? His business collapsed during COVID 4 years ago, right? Get this. When he bought that real estate, right? And he said, okay, we got this real estate here, right? And then here's the whole thing. You got to have real estate. You got to have a support system, right? You got to have what we call anchor, right? So in other words, basically, who's going to anchor his business? Now, Tyler Perry said, you know something, Jay Morris? I'm going to rent out like a 30-year office space, whatever like that, for my Tyler Perry studios, right in Atlanta, right? Right? Mm-hmm. That would have gave him the boost, right? He could not rent the places out, right? Because there weren't qualified black businesses and everything. That's what he should have had first.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You're a businessman, right? I presume. Yeah. And you're in the insurance, and you know that business, don't you?
Yeah.
So you're gonna let your barber sell you insurance?
Oh, I agree with that. I agree with you.
I'm just telling you.
I'm into real estate too. Real estate is not easy to get into.
And so am I. And I've been into it since 1980. This man was not a qualified. He was a real estate agent. He wasn't a broker. And even the first deal that he made with a friend of his, okay, he screwed the guy over. All the things that I'm saying have been documented on Common Sense, on the Pocket Watcher, okay? And you can see it. I left a link right in there. You trying to tell me when you said to me...
We'll get back to this after I talk to you guys in the chat room. Thank you all for commenting on the chat room. Please like and share the video. I would greatly appreciate that. Let me go back up. There's a whole lot of people that really have deep feelings about us wanting our own identity. It's really a trip. Charles says 1857, the United States Supreme Court versus Dred Scott versus Sanford. Has anyone ever read this story? I've heard of this story before, but I really haven't followed up on it, but I have heard that name before and I have heard that case before. What does it entail? What evolutionary people? We're evolutionary people. I think you meant we're evolutionary people, Charles says. Emma Infidel, they put blacks on the rainbow flag. I don't know what you mean by that. Charles says, according to Supreme Court case Dred Scott versus Sanford, they don't even look at us as being citizens. Well, again, the 14th Amendment is supposed to take care of that. We are supposed to be now considered human and Americans and all of that kind of stuff. So that, I think the 14th Amendment covers that. Miss D says, we're not saying African and Caribbeans are not citizens of America when they come here. We're just saying you're not African American or Black American. That's all we're saying. People are having a heart attack about it. It's unbelievable. Miss D says they know that the African American term is not for African first generation and second generations included with the identity thieving. They know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to usurp our identity for benefits is what they're doing. And Emma says, vote for Harris, the slave owner. I would not be voting for no slave owner. And I definitely won't be voting for Harris. She is not for our country. She is a fraud, a fake, cosplaying us. I give her no respect and I don't give a fuck about her. Now, Al Kelly says Caribbeans are in the same boat as Black Americans. It's the Americas. North, South Caribbean are the exact same people. No, we're not the same exact people. We have our own lineage. We have a mixture, admixture, and all that kind of thing that has happened over here in America. We have evolved into our own people. We are not the same. That's why Caribbeans, they can be proud of being a Jamaican. They can be proud of being from Barbados. They can be proud from being from Jamaica. They have their flags. They're prideful whenever that happens. Why can't they keep that same energy when they come to America? They don't have to morph into us. They can stay what they were. So that's not a good enough excuse. Miss D says, the census is still accepting responses to have a separate box for any African and Caribbean. I wrote to the email that African and Caribbean should have a box called Melanated Americans. It would be great if they could just have their own specific identity and stop with the bullshit, because then we have to turn around after they're hijacking our identity. Then they talk about we ain't got no culture. We don't know who we are because you motherfuckers are using our name. So you're confusing our shit. You know, specifically, we should have our own identity just like everybody else does. Why are you boxing Africans with Caribbeans? I'm not boxing anyone. They have their own identity. What part of that don't you get? They have their own flag. They have their own country. They have their own lineage. They have their own history. What part don't you understand? How slow are you? Miss D says an X is Ghanaian melanated American or Jamaican melanated American, not Black or African American. I wrote Africans can't call themselves African Americans, but because of that term, people, that's why I feel like we don't really have as many as we once perceived to think that we have, because I believe that mostly all the immigrants that have come over here are doing exactly what the African, the Ghanaian guy said. Oh, it's all right. We can use that. We can call ourselves again, hijacking and disrespecting our ethnicity by bastardizing it. Monique says, honestly, they don't care about us, but yet they come over here and marry the woman in America and then leave the woman after they get what they want. That's what I'm saying. They're treating us like hoes, and I want us to stop allowing different groups of people to continue to disrespect us. Kamala's 50% Indian, you claim, 25% white Irish, and 25% Black Jamaican. I don't care what she is, just as long as she's nowhere near the Oval Office. Miss D says Caribbean is also using Black American identity. Yeah, they're all doing it. And they think that shit is cute. And then they turn around talking about we don't know who we are. Like, bitch, the fuck? Monique says very strange that they are calling themselves African or Black American. It is strange, but this is the issue. And this is what we're going to end up having to fight Pan-Africans over, our identity, our specific identity that we want to have all by ourselves. My God, how hard is it to understand why we need our own specific ethnicity like you already have? It is so selfish for these people to come over here and assume that they can use our name too. But that's what they're doing. Miss D says, so what, Jamaicans not Black in America? You can say you Black in Jamaica if you want. It's just a mess right now. And Monique says, what is your point, please, to Al Kelly? Al Kelly is an irritant. Al Kelly doesn't know what he or she is talking about. Must be a Caribbean who is cosplaying us right now that feels some kind of way right now. Charles Harvey says, I say everybody was a slave trader that still has their native tongue. If you have your native tongue, you was a slave trader. We lost our native tongue. Not all, Charles. There are some people that have native tongues, like from other parts of Africa, that have nothing to do with what happened to our one ancestor, if that really happened, because we don't really know. And yes, she's not a Black American, but of course, she's trying to benefit Kamala from saying she is, and manipulating the minds of the feudal, of the mindless thinking ones that would just go ahead and side with her, talking about she's black. She's not black. She ain't been black no other time except for election time. I just came in, but it looks like they are separating Black Americans from Black Caribbean, and I hope that they do. Al Kelly, that's what they've been needing to do. They should never have clumped us together like that. That's very disrespectful. I'm an infidel. Everyone is descended from slaves unless your last name is Pharaoh, Caesar, or King. So what? So what, infidel? They have an identity. We want our identity. How hard is that for you to get? Jamaicans don't call themselves black in their homeland, Miss D says. No, they don't. No, they don't. They call themselves Jamaican. Matt says, I don't know why you would make your lowest common denominator the most important thing about you. I don't know what you're talking about. That doesn't even make sense. Al Kelly says, yes, because they are the majority in Jamaica. Emma says, Trump, you helped build this country. You did an amazing job, and you just not getting credit for it. Trump, I don't know. Okay. Monique says, many Jamaican people have told me that they're not black. So what are you defending? I don't know why they're on there talking about they want to be called us, but that's what they keep wanting to do. Even white cookouts, you bring something, Matt says. Yeah, they just want to come to whatever we got going. And these immigrants come empty-handed, and they want to get benefited up with everything pertaining to our identity. And it's disgusting to be able to do what they're getting away with doing. So what if Trump wants to uplift the Black American community out of guilt? So what is called repentance, Emma Infidel is saying. Miss D says, facts, Jamaicans know they're not black. The ones that say that they are identity thieves, that's what they are. A whole lot of them are doing it, though. So in my estimation, because they keep saying that there's about 40 million Black Americans here. But since I've been seeing all this rhetoric on YouTube about all these different Africans and all these different immigrants from the Caribbean claiming our identity, we might not even have 35 million of us. And that's why we need to delineate. That's why we cannot accept the Kamala Harris game that she's playing, because it's not cool to let that slide, y'all, because that's setting the same stage of other people to keep doing what she's doing, to keep doing what Obama did. Obama wasn't one of us. He was half Kenyan and half white. He has nothing to do with the history here in America with chattel slavery, Jim Crow, or none of that. So why did we believe that he was African American? Because we did not understand what we understand today. And now we see how we've been played through Obama. And we do not want Kamala to get away with what Obama got away with. We let that slide one time. We're not doing it this time. Okay, so you all want to separate from Black Caribbeans. You are crazy. First generation born of Caribbean parents are what then? They're from Caribbean. So wherever they came from, Barbados Americans, Jamaican Americans, whatever they came from, that's what they are. They're not us. They don't have the same lineage as us. Miss D says they're Caribbean American or African and what'd you say? They're Caribbean. African and Caribbean can never be us because they wasn't here during slavery, Reconstruction, and very little here during Jim Crow. Are you slow? Exactly. It's like, give me a break. They said, what about Jesus and what did Jesus do? We all came from one place. It doesn't matter. We still trying to maintain an idea. I don't understand why it's so hard for people to understand that people have pride in their identity. People draw strength from their identity. People are able to do and remove mountains based on their identity and their pride. If we are not able to have pride and confidence, then that defeats us out the gate. And people are trying to bog us down with this block of blackness. That's a Pan-African concept. It's not the truth. There is no Pan-Africanism nowhere in Africa, nowhere in America, nowhere in Haiti, nowhere. So this notion of trying to make us all one block of black is not working out, especially at the expense of Black Americans, indigenous to America. That's where I'm having an issue with our identity politics that's going on in America. I'll go with the name American Native Indigenous Americans. Okay, I heard that. Indigenous Black Americans for me. Miss D says, no, we didn't, Nene. Charles says, I bet they can't say what I just said if they can't come here. They are not original people. That's why we have to delineate. We have to declare our own identity. These people are vultures, all of them. I can understand if you were born here and your parents took it upon themselves to claim you were us and you got it misconstrued. But now that you know what your mama done did or your father done did, you should correct that and stop using our designated specific names that were given to us. Knock it off. Man, I don't know why you are concerned about that. There's no reason to say nasty things to people. Play nice or not at all. What did Matt say? If he's being rude, you can time him out. I didn't even see what Matt. Oh, let me go back up. Matt says even white cookouts, you bring something. Well, he's just letting it be known that if you do go to a cookout, you should not come empty-handed. But apparently, you know, when people come to America, they don't have to be respectful to our ethnicity. Hey, what's up, Four Rivers? Thank you for coming through. I really appreciate you. Blacks in the Caribbean and North and South America, Al Kelly says, are from the tribes of Judah and Benjamin of the Israelites. We look like brothers and sisters, uncles and cousins. No, we don't. Stop the lie. You're not an Israelite. Cut it out. Knock it off. African Goddess says, ackee and salt fish, rice and peas, curry goat, all traditional Jamaican dishes. Jamaicans share a history of slavery with Black Americans, but that's where it stops. That's all I'm saying. It's like people really expect us just to walk around without no pride. They want us to go back to the mindset of a slave for everybody. We're not doing that. So this is why this live is important. But let me see, there's a video I wanted to show of Kamala Harris while I'm thinking about it. Because again, her history about immigration, y'all, should be the reason why y'all should not look to vote for Kamala Harris, this fraudster, this cosplaying liar. You should not let her get away with it. And again, we're having issues with the border being wide open. We do not need the border kept open by the likes of Kamala Harris. And that's exactly what she's going to do. What she's going to end up doing is bringing Indians over here. Indians are having issues with job crisis right now. So she's going to keep the border open and fly her people in because that's what she is, Indian. And we're being played in the meanwhile, trying to feel fuzzy and good about her being called Black. And I'm not impressed. I'm insulted.
If she will make things better or make things worse, because you guys say in the comments, you need to give her a chance. Listen to what she's. Okay, I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna listen right now. All right. Let's see where this takes us.
Listen, I think there's no question that we've got to critically re-examine ICE and its role and the way that it is being administered and the work it is doing. And we need to probably think about starting from scratch because there's a lot that is wrong with the way that it's conducting itself, and we need to deal with that.
The issue of immigration is not a monolith. To the point of your question, there are a lot of very specific subsets under that heading that have to be addressed and understood, including those young people like yourself who did not receive DACA protection and are here, obviously living a productive life, contributing and identifying in a way that is about wanting to stay and wanting to be protected. And I'll say this, first of all, we've got to pass comprehensive immigration reform. And we are not, but here's the thing, it's not only about a goal, there's no path right now for undocumented immigrants towards citizenship. There's no path.
The path she should be thinking about is the path of Americans. We have no path for respect. We have no path for compassion. What about the homeless people? What about the veterinarians that are homeless, kicked out on their ear? She talking about a path for immigrants, illegals. This is her whole mindset. Pay attention, y'all.
There shouldn't be. We'll be honest here. Let me explain this before you guys click off or start commenting crazy to me. Undocumented immigrant. That means they came in a very not legal way, let's say. Right? They didn't come in legally, so there shouldn't be a path for those specific individuals, right? When it comes to the kids, obviously she mentioned DACA. I'll back DACA, no problem, right? Specifically DACA exclusively. The kids had no real, let's say, opportunity to say, hey, listen, I don't want to go to the United States of America. They had no opportunity to say that. They were basically dragged along with the individuals who broke the law, right, coming into the country. But let's see where this takes us, guys.
For undocumented immigrants towards citizenship, there's no path. Okay. So we have 11, 12 million people. There's an argument about which. Go with 11. 11 million.
Keep in mind, this was in 2020 when this apparently was delivered.
People for which there's no real path. So it is irresponsible to not come up with a plan. And there have been bipartisan agreements, but this administration is not going to sign any of them because we have a president of the United States who has created a fiction about a crisis at the border, and he has held up the United States government and its workers.
A fiction at the border? So she made it a reality, y'all. A fiction at the border, y'all. Peep this bullshit out right here.
Around his vanity project called a wall.
I wonder if she would literally say the same thing right now. I mean, I get it. The video that was sent in here seems to be somewhat of a compilation of all the things that she has said on immigration. But the problem here is that this is really old, and this was way before the absolute craziness at the border. Now, if her opinion is identical to this, then she's going to lose on immigration. Absolutely. If her opinion is this exact thing, she will 100% lose on immigration exclusively.
Around his vanity project called a wall, the idea that he is trying to say that we have people that are trying to invade our country to commit mass crime.
Well, by definition, it's invade. Specifically, if millions are coming, undocumented specifically, they're not coming in through actual port of entries. They're trying to basically skip the line because the line is long, right? So yeah, that would be probably most likely invasion. Now, the term of mass crime, that's not it. A very small percentage of migrants that are actually coming are committing crime. A very, very small.
Again, he can't foresee the future. There's gangs that are over here, ISIS cells that are over here, unvetted men all over the place from all over the world are over here. You cannot know who these people are. They're not a part of no database or anything like that. Kamala, along with Biden, has left this country very unsafe, very unsecure, and very dangerous. At this point, we need a Trump. Now, getting back to Kamala Harris cosplaying so-called African Americans, like I say, because I don't like that term at all. I'm a Black American, indigenous Black American. But here is when Kamala was pretending to, 3 years ago, to be celebrating Kwanza, if that's what it's called, some type of made-up holiday for, I think, Pan-African type of talk, but she's pretending like she's celebrating this. Look at this.
Happy holidays, everyone. I wanted to take a moment to send my warmest wishes to everyone celebrating Kwanza. Like so many other holidays, we will be celebrating Kwanzaa a little differently this season in our home. We'll be doing it over Zoom. You know, my sister and I, we grew up celebrating Kwanzaa. Every year, our family and our extended family, we would gather around across multiple generations, and we'd tell stories. The kids would sit on the carpet, and the elders would sit in chairs, and we would light the candles, and of course, afterwards, have a beautiful meal. And of course, there was always the discussion of the 7 principles. And my favorite, I have to tell you, was always the one about self-determination, Kujitagalia. And, you know, essentially it's about be and do. Be the person you want to be and do the things you want to do and do the things that need to be done. It's about not letting anyone write our future for us, but instead going out and writing it for ourselves. And that principle motivates me today as we seek to confront the challenges facing our country and to build a brighter future for all Americans. So to everyone who is celebrating, happy Kwanzaa from our family to yours.
Fake as hell. Fake as hell. That's what we got going on. Someone that's trying to cosplay, someone that needs to be exposed, and that's what I'm doing in this video. I hope others will do the same by liking the video, sharing the video, subscribing to my channel. Let's get back to Kala's video, talking again about our identity and why it's important that we're going to have to delineate, and we need to correct people that are around us claiming to share our identity when it's obvious they don't.
Said to me, you say something and prove it. I left the link in there. He says it himself.
I don't see it.
I put it in there about 15, 20 minutes ago.
Well,
in the chat.
In the back chat, I don't see anything.
It's in the chat.
I say it like this, Jay Morrison. He had a good idea, but he had bad intentions.
He had an idea to scam and make money.
Money, man.
And that's what he did.
Straight up.
Listen, if you're going to deal with a person who's a real estate person who really has proven his concept, then you deal with a guy. If I want to buy insurance, I'm going to Genesis because Genesis has been in the business. He knows the business.
That point you're right about.
The problem that we have as people is that we're so in touch with celebrity. And we're so in touch with
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Do you think Yvette Carnell's opinion would have been any different if it was somebody who was basically really good in real estate, had a track record? She would not be the same way?
Yeah, I think she would be the same way because she's against anything for black people who want to do for themselves.
Exactly. All right, so we agree on that.
Yeah, we definitely agree on that. But I say that we have to deal with qualified people who know exactly, not because they look good or they're swaggy, and all of the things that this man was saying was totally ridiculous. And for people to support this nonsense, because our people really want, to identify with each other. Our people, there's some people who really want to work together. And when we allow these clowns, like you talk about deadly clowns.
And speaking of which, just because we want to have our own specific identity, what is wrong with Pan-Africans such as Kala and all these other clowns that claim to be Pan-African? Why can't they just do something tangible in America, prove that they're able to do something instead of yapping? This is all that we get day in and day out about these Pan-Africans until they find a live one that's willing to just throw money at them. That's all they do is yap. And then they take that money and do nothing that they claim that they're going to do. And then they wonder why we don't trust and we don't want to fuck with Pan-Africans. That's why, because they're fraudsters.
Jay Morrison is a deadly clown. Whether you like his idea or not, he's a clown. He's a clown that stole money, that paid his wife. He did all kinds of other stuff other than doing what he was supposed to do. And when they had people who knew real estate and said they would help him out, he refused to accept the help because he came to do what he came to do, which is scam the black community. We didn't properly vet him to see if he had the proper credentials, did he have a portfolio for him to go out and take all of this money, okay? And you saw the way he was acting, like a pimp, like a fool, like Gilbert Arenas.
Speaking of Jay Morrison, just a couple of months ago, the Shade Room was talking about the fact that Black investors claim fraud by this same man, and that's all we seem to get. That's why we're not trusting any of y'all, because that's what y'all on, pimping.
To secure the bag or to fumble the bag.
This is a smack in the face for someone who took a gamble.
People trusted him.
But our people are thirsty. Our people are hungry for knowledge.
He was the viral guy in Atlanta, spitting finance knowledge to anybody who listened on the street corner. But now Jay Morrison is in hot water.
I invested $40,000.
$500.
It's $2,000.
He got 15,000 people to invest in a real estate fund. $11.7 million they all raised.
$11.7 million they all raised, and they got taken for fools. Umar Johnson still scamming us. Dr. Eric Connor thinks that she got a nice little charitable scam going on. All these motherfuckers are scammers.
Black Wall Street was on the horizon.
The money has been just evaporated.
And apparently there's little to show for it. And investors are going off on social media.
Everything done in darkness must come to light.
I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates. Businessman Jay Morrison has been hustling for a long time. He spent many of his earlier years in prison, wrapped up in the drug game, before he eventually found his footing in finance and the real estate industry in Atlanta. And by the looks of it on social media, he turned things around, amassing quite a following on social media, known for those corner classes where he teaches financial literacy in public spaces.
Any random dude that comes along that looks halfway decent or talk halfway decent, people are trying to put all their faith and throw all their money at these people, and they're just scamming and running off with the money. And it's a crying shame that we don't vet people. We don't check into what they're really about. We just say, oh, he sounds good for now, I'm just going to go ahead and trust. And then these people have been burnt. So this notion of Jay Morrison not scamming, maybe mismanaged this and that. No, he scammed, and he's not giving the money back. So he's a scammer.
You got to stop taking the deadly clowns and saying because it sounds good and it looks good, it's good. Where is your record to show that you know what you're talking about? Before I put my money, when you said you made bad business deals, I've made bad business deals too, but not with other people's money, with my own, right? I didn't go out and solicit and tell people, come in and I'm going to make mistakes with your money.
Bingo. Everybody wants to be able to have access to other people's money. They don't want to get their hands dirty. They're not using their money. They're using everybody else's money. And that's a problem.
For my own money and made my own mistakes. That's what you do. Stop supporting clowns and fools that go through our community and hurt our community and then turn around and say, oh, well, you know, he's black. No, that doesn't help. He's not a Pan-Africanist.
Again, the word black and people thinking that anyone that's black can be trusted, that we all have to get along with everybody that has that label attached to them somehow. That's how we're becoming gotten. We keep getting got by that mindset. And unfortunately, we can't trust too many black people. That's the truth. It is obviously the truth.
He's a clown. He's a former dope dealer. He's a con man. And that's what he is.
Brother, it wasn't no mistake. It was an elaborate scheme. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Of course. Exactly, my brother. It was a con. And we should not entertain stupidity.
I mean, goddamn, that was
You're right. But now O'Shea came at him, Jay Morrison, right, real hard, right? I accepted O'Shea's criticism of Jay Morrison, but I'll never accept the fact that before he got started, right, Yvette Cardell was like, it's not going to work. If the right person did that same thing he did, they would have worked. She was saying, don't do it at all.
But you have to do it the right way. You have to do it with a person.
Don't do it at all.
You have to do it with a person. If I want to get in insurance, I'm going to deal with a person like you who has many years of insurance and knows what they're doing. That has proven the concept, right? In any business, you have to have a proof of concept. So a person who has a track record and proof of concept, those are the people that we should invest with. But he was not put in investment. It was not traded on the stock exchange. It was a personal slush fund for him.
Yeah, facts. But yeah, it would have been dope if it was up and up. It would have been dope.
And I got to say something about. I've been listening to my brother Zongo and other continental Africans. I think when we give power to ADOS is because we have not clearly defined ourselves as an African people. Mm-hmm. And we don't have to justify to continental Africans that we're Africans. We don't need this.
But we do not call ourselves Africans. He's a Pan-African talking, and he thinks that because he's a Pan-African, he can speak for all of us. And I say, no, you cannot. We're not African. We don't have the culture. We don't speak the language. We're multi-race at this point. The ship has sailed. We're new people. We are American. That's it. That's all. And people are trying to make us be remixed over, calling us Africans, and we're not. We're not going.
Stamp of approval. It was Malcolm X said that if you take kittens and you put them in the oven, you don't make biscuits, right? Sit down and say.
Somehow we got lost on that. We think we need Africans' approval on everything.
Yeah, we don't.
And that's the problem. Africans think that they should take the lead and somehow have authority over us. And I say, the way you were 10 years ago is the way you're going to be right now with me. If we weren't really talking and moving and grooving like that, why do you think you should be moving and grooving like that now? Why do you think that you should be leading the charge of my identity or any other thing that I want to be or do? I'm not going to look for validation from Africans because I don't need it. I am me and they are them. That's it.
Oh, come on, man.
They're not our moral authority.
Wait, guys. Africans are not taking issues.
They are, though. That's the part. They think they are.
Guys.
Some of us are more African than they are.
Guys, wait.
Africans are Europeans, man. They act like Europeans. They act like it.
Wait, guys.
They want it both ways.
We're not jumping you.
No, I'm not jumping you. I'm just telling the truth. They want it both ways.
I'm trying to say something, though.
I want to say one thing.
I'm a little confused. I want some kind of clarity. Though.
They want to come here and say, you're some kind of fake African.
Hold on, we're gonna let you.
And I'm an African. I'm the real African American.
Yeah, we're the real African Americans.
You guys are cosplaying us, and then they turn around and get a white woman and have a white child, have a mixed child. And
the dollar bill. Did you see that they remade Africans remade the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Oh yeah,
damn.
One of their favorite movies was Coming to America. They love Coming to America.
I don't think it's funny for them to be cosplaying stuff that we already created. Why can't they make up their own show? Why do they have to piggyback off of our shows? Again, that tethering that FBA talks about right there, I can see the point in what Tariq Nasheed has been mentioning. Even though I'm not FBA, I can understand his points. Why can't we have our own and y'all just make up your own? Why piggyback off of our shit? It's just really ridiculous, and it shows that they don't have no thought process to make up their own creativity to create something on their own from scratch. Everything has to be about what we already did. It's ridiculous.
They love it. That was a spook for us. They love it. They're like, yes, that's our culture.
Yeah, that's for sure. A lot of Africans didn't like that movie though. That's
They
for
love
sure,
it.
man.
Their favorite
Everybody
movie.
come over here like they're the princes among them or not.
Again, what's funny, we all had a Prince of Bel-Air. That was a really popular show. There was no reason for Africans to redo it. They could have just made up their own from Delco. I don't know. Something else from Africa, some other vibration, some other creativity sitcom that they should have made up on their own. No, they want to copy every fucking thing we do, and it's sickening. That movie Us comes to mind about some of the ways in which Africans move, and it's really pathetic.
Oh, he's a prince. They go back to the Dusty Village and whatnot. I thought some of a man came to the village.
I'm still a prince though. God, I'm still a prince. I'm still a prince of my
Who
village.
we are. We're African people. We don't need you.
Again, he's a Pan-African. You don't speak for me. I'm not an African people. I'm not going to Africa. I'm not trying to be validated by Africans. I don't need their approval. I'm okay by myself, as is. And that has to be the mentality I hope that many other people will share for our own sanity, peace of mind, and our confidence and pride within ourselves. When you say that you're somebody else suddenly, where is your confidence at? Who have you been all this time, child, woman, man, whatever? If you have not known what you were all this time, what have you been doing all these years? I'm confused when people say they don't know who they are. Well, what have you been all this time?
I'm not talking about you, Zongo. I'm talking about other continental Africans to give you our approval. We've been over here for over 400 years, and most of us have over 80% African DNA.
That's what I'm saying.
I agree.
And I don't give a damn about those DNA tests. It's all for entertainment. Again, I am American. I'm not trying to change my identity in the middle of my life for anybody. Nobody got it like that. Period.
We don't have to say you come. Oh, but the Black Americans. No, we're Americans because we're in America.
Yeah, but the problem is, I mean, someone who's just new to American society, right? There's always like there's a conflict of viewpoints within the African American community. In some cases, some people want to associate themselves with the African terminology. Some they do. Oh, you can't. I ain't no African. I'm just this and that. You get what I'm saying? So I'm confused with you, DB. You saying that?
How many black people showed up for Wakanda?
Well, hold on.
No. How many black?
Africa, bro?
No.
Yeah, but Africans.
How many black people paid their good money? Okay.
That was the fastest film in history.
Yeah, but Africans never.
But
They do the same thing, man. They say,
you guys don't listen to me.
Listen.
A lot of them.
One person at a time. I've been told
if you knew the history of cinema in this country,
one person at a time. It's all Bill land.
If you knew the history of cinema in America, we have always. I can go back to the River Niger. I can go back to all of these films from the 1920s that we've always identified ourselves as African people.
Yeah, but I mean, great Black Americans don't do that though.
You telling me you know more African Americans than I do? Because I see millions of them going to see Wakanda and identifying. Okay,
I mean, Kyle, you know what I'm talking about. You know,
I don't know what you're talking about because you go to any black person's home who's educated, but you'll see African sculptures.
I know he's talking about the ones that say, "Oh, I'm not African." Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, of course.
Again, they're putting too much weight on this notion of being African. Those are Pan-Africans. We don't share the same mindset. We're not a monolith. We feel as if we are American. We've been here for hundreds of years. We're not trying to change. I'm 50 something years old now. I'm not trying to change my identity at this age. And so for Pan-Africans to argue with us about who we claim we are, who we want to be recognized as, and then immigrants coming over here trying to apply pressure to us, trying to bully us, trying to punk us as they're cosplaying us. It is truly amazing. I feel sometimes like I got to pinch myself from sleeping, that this has got to be a dream, and it's not. It's a real nightmare. Let me see what you guys are saying before I continue. Drex says, wait, Harris isn't black? How? She could be, she's more Indian than anything. And the black part is not really understood because her father is also Indian that happens to live in Jamaica. He's not really a black man. So if there's black heritage way down the line, a little bit, whatever. So she's not me. I'm not claiming her. She's not my type. She's not my kind. She's not us. Period. Just like the song. She's not just like us. Miss D says, Boule, aka self-hate, trying to call her a black woman. Exactly. It's ridiculous. She's not us. She is a multi-raced woman who primarily considers herself Indian and conveniently black when she's trying to run for some type of political office. That is bastardizing our name, and we're sick of it. If you're listening to me, Kamala Harris, or anyone that's from her team, go tell her to just be who she is and stop cosplaying Black Americans, because she's not getting our votes this time playing that game. Anyway, she's not getting my vote because the immigration situation is too bad and she's not going to fix it, and I already know. How can you have a problem with what she is saying? Because she's a liar. That's why, Jack Kiss. ICE needs to be reconsidered. Probably true, considering the amount of kids lost in the system. That's the last thing on my mind is ICE, other than picking up illegals and sending them back where they belong. Divine Truth says definitely Indigenous American. Facts. Drex says the host said Harris is Indian, so therefore she isn't black, even though she has a black. Her father is not black. You seen a picture of her father, Drex? Just because they say Jamaica, there's Indians that live there. There are Chinese that live there. There are white people that live in Jamaica, and there are also Jamaican blacks or melanated people that are there also. And I don't believe that her father is the melanated Jamaican. He is the Indian that happens to be living in Jamaica, that was born there. Whoop-de-doo. That doesn't mean anything to me. So what? Charles says probably mostly for her people in India. That's what she's more for. As soon as she gets the election, she's back to being the first Indian. And black goes out the window. I'm tired of being used like a dirty tampon. Maybe we should have, say, legal path. They're not the first priority on my list of thought. My priority is getting rid of illegals as best as possible so that our economies cannot collapse, because it seems like it's about to, if not already. And my priority is to make sure that our country still remains a country and not turn into a second or a third world country. And I feel as if Democrats are taking us down this weird rabbit hole, which is trying to make America a third world country and gut out the middle class and make everybody have and have nots in America. That's the direction of where America is going, and liberal thinkers are doing this to us specifically. Golden Brown, what's up? How are you doing? You said, I wish all of us would stop calling ourselves black as an identity, because none of our skin is black. Well, the reason why, Golden Brown, I still use the word black is because it's on my birth certificate. That's what I was born with the identity of. And unfortunately, the identity got swapped out to African American. I never acknowledged that terminology, but that's a term that's supposed to be linked to me. Even if I don't really like it, But that's why I call myself, because it's on my birth certificate. And most people that are coming from other places don't have a birth certificate that says Black, because they have their own identity. And if ever it came to, different immigrants versus us, who is who, you better know what your birth certificate says, in other words. For Rivers says, just the fact that the Biden-Harris administration allowed millions to enter America while citizens were still recovering from the hardships of COVID should make her ineligible to run for any office. That is well put. That's exactly how I feel. Yeah, holidays are made up, but that one was kind of made up out the blue. I don't know if it came in the 60s or 70s, but something relatively new. That's what I mean by that. Al Kelly says Kamala is tri-racial, but if anything, she is East Indian. She doesn't look Black, but definitely looks Indian from North India. Exactly. That's all I'm saying. What's wrong with her just representing as an Indian woman that's multi-raced? Why does she have to say that she's a African American, or pretend to be, or Black American rather? For Rivers says, LOL, Harris celebrating Kwanza, public stunt, publicity stunt. Yeah, it is. What's up, Mr. Uganda? How are you doing? She has no shame lying like this, disgusting and deplorable. That's what I'm saying. I'm so sick of these people. I was so upset about this live that I'm playing right now with Kala, because it's about to get heated up about our identity. And you're going to hear the back and forth about we African, we not African, we African, we not African. It's like, oh my God, why all this confusion in 2024? Why do we have to be confused after all this time? We've been fine. It's because of the immigrants. It's because of the people coming to America trying to make us over against our will. Charles says, better family in India is laughing their asses off. Oh, yeah, they are. Oh, she's going to get the presidency by playing Black. Oh, those Black people are so stupid and dumb. They get played every 4 years and they keep accepting the same play. They're so stupid. I'm sick of us being depicted as that. Right, because Trump so qualified. He's already done the job, and he did a decent job considering COVID. And that's why I know he is more fit for the job, and he's going to handle the border better than a Harrison would ever handle it. Not only that, ain't no real world leader that's all over the globe going to be looking at a Harris as respectable as a woman and all that. We already know they're not going to value America as powerful. It's going to invite people to try us and test us. I think we have more than enough testing going on as is. We have too much on our plate that we have to figure out what to do with. And we don't need more issues behind Kamala Harris being a woman, needing to coddle her as a president. I don't want to coddle a president. A president is supposed to be standing on her or his own feet. And I don't think that she's going to be able to do it. And we're going to see through this nominee, the nominee of her, whether or not it's going to be going to misogyny talk and, oh, you can't say this about her past relations and all these things. But we go after the juggler on Trump. All the men, we go for the juggler, but we're supposed to treat her with kitten gloves. I don't think so. And I hope that none of y'all treat her like that. Charles Harvey says she looks like my aunt when she's lying. Four Rivers says, Mr. Uganda, exactly. I love to see the look on the face of her white husband and children when she put up red, black, and green candles for the flags that's supposed to represent blacks. Exactly. It is such a crying shame that she would do that. I don't think she has any kids, though. From my understanding, she don't have any kids unless she adopted some that I'm not aware of. But Mr. Uganda says they probably look at her crazy LMAO. It is so obvious she is acting. I hope people seriously aren't buying this stunt. Believe it or not, Mr. Uganda, a lot of us are, and it's really shameful. I'm so embarrassed sometimes being a Black American because they really be taking us for fools. And a lot of them are so blindly following these people to a cliff to be pushed off. And that's the truth. We cannot believe in such a woman. Miss D says, we don't call ourselves African at all. We are American first, Black second. Exactly. That's it. And we're not trying to say there's something wrong with Africans. We're just saying we respect them and their tribe. We respect them and where they come from. Just don't try to tell me that now I have to pretend like I'm there in Africa and I'm from there and I have their culture and all. I can't do all this pretending. I'm sorry. I'm not a Kamala Harris. I'm not going to be able to pull it off. And I'm not even going to start. Mr. Uganda, yes, Four Rivers says, I hope people don't believe Kamala lies too. If I might not be saying her name, but I don't even care, to be honest with you. That's her name, Kamala. Was truly about the spirit of Kwanza, would not have married and pre-created with a European. She deliberately whited out. She doesn't have kids, though. I don't think she has any kids on her own. I might have to look that up to make sure, but I'm sure that somebody said on a newscast that she doesn't have kids and somebody was making a point to mention it. So I don't think she has any children. Something that most Indians do, Four Rivers says. Miss D says, for Black, we have our own approval, not Africans. We accomplish so much that others copy. Exactly. I don't need their approval. I mean, it would be nice if they were respectful and cool and kind. I celebrate and salute those that are like that, especially if they're intelligent and open-minded. But if they're not, I don't really gonna hold my breath and have some type of fit behind it, because I'm still gonna be doing me. Charles says, we know who the stronger people are. We've been providing that centuries and centuries. We've been proving how strong we are. Unfortunately, right now, Charles, we're at the weakest point in our lives that we have ever imagined. Just look at all the people that's running around talking about she's Black. People talking about we're gonna elect the first Black president, woman president. It's really, really sad. That's not her. Al Kelly says, not true. Each race group is identified by the continent of origin, suffix, African, Asian, Europeans. All American whites are European American. There's race and there's nationality. Anyways, I don't claim Africa. Sorry. I'm from America. I only claim my ethnicity being Black. My nationality is being American. I do not acknowledge the African side. That ship has sailed. And why? Because my ancestor, if it's true, was betrayed by Africans. And you think I'm going to turn around and call myself that after the betrayal? We've been cut off. We have been remade over here in America. We had what do they call it? Ethnocide is what we, if I'm pronouncing it right. We're not the same people from 200, 300, 400, 500 years ago. That's the truth. There is so much chaos on the panel. You ain't saying nothing yet, Mr. Uganda. It's about to get really, really crazy in a minute. Stop. We are not African and Caribbean. Okay. You are weird to claim our identity. Again, everybody's trying to dictate to us what we're supposed to call ourselves. Everywhere you go, they don't do this to the Jamaicans and the Haitians and other Caribbeans and other Africans. They don't check them about claiming their tribe and where they come from. They just come for Black Americans talking about we can't claim our own identity. And that is hogwash. Charles says, Bible says there's nothing new under the sun because our ancestors have done it already. And we're still doing it to this day, creating new things and pretty much paving the way for the future. As best as we can try to do it, but many people are letting us down in our ethnic group right now because they are being foolish and crash dummies for other groups of agendas that have nothing to do with benefiting us as a collective. And that is the part that I am tripping off of. They're benefiting off of us. It's not the other way around. It's not a back and forth. It's just them benefiting off of us and us being depleted, and then depleted, used and abused, bastardized, and spat out. Lem says Kamala is Indian, not Native American Indian, like from India. Yeah, I know. That's what she is. Her father is not Black America. You should, let me find, there's a video. I'm going to try to find a picture of him, but he looks Indian. He is not Black. Four Rivers says Kamala and Obama are the perfect examples of why indigenous Black Americans shouldn't buy into the Pan-African agenda. After they got into office, they ignored indigenous Black Americans. Exactly. They turned their back and never looked back again. And she has that training from Biden, how to best ignore us. And that's exactly what she will do for another 4 years. And we cannot take that. You don't believe, okay, it's all listen to you, America is a myth, says. Indians have melanated school that don't make them Black. Exactly. It's like some of them are darker than I am. Many Indians are darker than I am. That doesn't make them African, just like I'm not. No, I'm not MAGA, but I am for support of Trump because of the border. But no, I'm not a fanatic MAGA Trump supporter that's got a red hat screaming Trump, Trump, Trump. But I believe that he will do a better job than Kamala Harris, because she, as a vice president, what has she done? Nothing. Where has she been? All this time she's been in hiding. The only time I heard of her anywhere was in Africa, trying to tell Ghana to become homosexual friendly. What do you call it? The LGBTQ whatever friendly. That's all I've seen her do. I have never heard her talk about anything, doing anything. So I'm confused. Pinky says, and we are an amalgamation on that European Indian that was already here, and every other ethnic group that landed on this soil, made in America, American, and not African. Pinky says, thank you so much for that. And that is the absolute truth. And I don't understand why people are so butthurt about us claiming what the truth is. David says, what future for Black America? Should we vote Republican? Yes, we should. If we can't vote Republican for some strange reason because Trump is not in office, I would say don't vote at all, but definitely do not vote for Democrats under no circumstance. They are taking us under and out. Miss D says she is not MAGA. Many of us don't. Slaves to any party. A party American is a myth. No, I'm not. I'm an independent voter. I'm not Democrat or Republican, but because I'm independent, I can choose which one, and I'm choosing Republican if Trump happens to be the nominee. If something comes up to where he's not going to be on the ticket for whatever reason, then I won't be voting. I'll be voting for the couch. And I hope that most of us would do the same thing. We cannot be this dumb to be played by Democrats day in and day out. I'm sick of it. Four Rivers says, is a myth. It's been said that Kamala's father family is listed as Indian in Jamaica. He changed it to African American when he came into America. Isn't that just unbelievable? How can he become African American from Jamaica? That's what I'm trying to talk about right there. How is that possible to just change your name to African American? So that what's that make us if everybody is bastardizing our name? Your African continent won't find our DNA on, Pinky says. Mr. Uganda says, this is why I believe she is an interloper using racialism and confusion to advance herself. That's exactly what she's doing, Mr. Uganda. And a lot of our people are so gullible and foolish and crash dummies to fall for it. They don't need too much to be impressed. And I don't get it, because we have not been given anything by the Democrats. So why are we impressed? Why are we still wanting to be loyal to people that have shown us how disloyal they're going to be to us and not think about us not one time? They think about every other group but us. Miss D says, facts for Black, because we didn't want the name African American by 80%. And now the last 20 years, African American is on birth certificate of the babies. Isn't that a trip? Against their will. I'm so glad that I was of age to not have that African American term attached to me, and that I've always only known Black American. That's why I can say with clarity, I'm not African American, nor am I African. Kamala for prison 2024. Yeah, I hope she does go to prison. I think the children are her husband's. Yeah, that's what I heard. Four Rivers says Kamala doesn't have kids. No, she don't. I thought that she did because someone posted a pic of her husband and some kids around them. Maybe they were her husband. Yeah, I think that he has kids, or maybe they adopted some children. I don't know. Maybe they adopted, but I don't think she has no children. Clay says, why do you think she's on medication? Those are her old husband's children? Yes. We have been created in America. We might have an African ancestor 300 to 500 years ago. That's what I'm saying. That's a long time ago to be trying to say I'm African now. I'm sorry. It doesn't work that way. Mr. Uganda says, Danny, why don't you just enlighten us on what you're alluding to? Clay says, you mean the book? I've seen it. Trump is not affiliated with the publisher, with that publisher. Hey, what's up, Edek? How are you? Four Rivers says, Pinky Wells, okay, thanks. The point is that if lying Kamala, who says she and her family always celebrated Kwanza, I doubt that she would have married a white man. Exactly. She's just a liar. Pinky says they're trying to connect themselves to us. That connects them to America. What African want to connect themselves to Haiti or Jamaica? Exactly. They don't be trying to cosplay anybody else but us. And then gonna tell us we ain't nothing and nobody. Then why are you cosplaying us? Why is everything circling around us for? It's a mess. Pinky says most of us will vote the couch, letting immigrants and children vote so that they can put people in office that will cater to their interests, as is now. Look at Chicago and New York. I'm going to vote for the other stuff too, if that's on the ballot to vote for. I'm just hoping that Trump will make it. I just feel like they're going to be trying to pull something to try to make Trump not be able to be on the ballot or something, because Trump, again, he is a strong alpha male. And we need, in this day and age, someone that's not too afraid to open their mouth, and they're real blunt and brutish about what they want to do, because that's what we need more than ever, because we had such a letdown by Biden to allow our country to get to where it is right now, with all these illegals just running around amok. It's out of control right now. For Rivers says Kamala definitely wouldn't be planning to make America great again. She's already voiced her plans to destroy the structures that are in place to protect America from illegal immigrants. She's done it. That's what she's concerned about, the immigrants. She's going to be prioritizing her administration, if she does get in office, to be about immigration, and we will not be hearing from her again. And I hope that we're going to understand that that's what she's planning on doing after she uses us and springboards into the Oval Office. She's going to discard us like some chewed up gum and spit it out on the concrete ground. Yes, we're not impressed. Political ignorance. Exactly, Pinky. Pinky Wells, not true with DNA. The native blacks found in America are from the Mali Empire. Here we go. They all know where we come from. Let them tell it. They sent 800 ships to America in 1200 AD. Mansa Musa was the richest man in history. Again, we're mixed race after 500 years. It does not matter. That ship has sailed. We do not care. We're not going. We're not African, and people need to stop trying to make us Africanized. It's no disrespect. I love Mr. Uganda. If I had to choose what type of nephew that I could have, he would be perfect. But again, that does not mean that I want to not be me now. Why do I need not be me? Because I'm liking someone that's African. That doesn't make sense. If you cannot hold your weight as an American and deal with Africans on your own as yourself, then you're stupid and slow. She has no children, Monique says. It's true, and that's what I believe. So no conversation here. You can be African. You can be African. Anyone that decides that they want to be African, that's on you to do. But just don't expect me to do the same thing behind what you're doing. That's all I'm saying. Respect my decision to choose to be what I've always been, not what you're trying to recreate me to be. Mr. Uganda says, I thought Americans preferred leaders with children. Will her not having her own children harm her chances of becoming Pontiff? Someone has already mentioned that she doesn't have kids. So I think that in the minds of some people, if you don't have kids, how can you know what your capacity of leadership is all about? Because having kids is a hard knock life. Having children is not the easiest job to do, especially for a mother, and juggling. So I don't know. Some people would take it as being she has been having too much fun in her life, maybe enjoying herself a little bit, partying too much. I don't know. Some people might look at it negatively. I don't care. She's not getting my vote under no circumstance. We was part of the native land in America, Ms. D says. EDEC says, I have of yet to hear any policies that a Pontiff Harris will have for Black Americans. They don't say anything about us. They want us to wait and see how it goes once they get elected. They don't tell nobody else that. They tell everybody else specifics. Oh, we're going to hook you up with this. We're going to do this for you. We're going to give you this money. We're going to set you up over here. Everybody else gets tangibles and specifics. But when it comes to us, oh, we'll see how it goes after I'm elected. We'll have that conference meeting after I get elected. Wink, wink. And it never happens. That's what's going to happen again. And I hope you guys get the memo. Please share this video. Please subscribe to my channel. I am hopeful that I can prevent, or at least some people, from making the big mistake of voting for a Kamala Harris. Pinky says, only thing Kamala will do is let more of her people from India. They're already on their way. Thousands entering our airports. Talk to an employee of TSA. Yes, they're all coming because there's no jobs, Pinky. I showed that on one of the videos that they almost had a stampede trying to get the same job. They're really literally having a crisis with jobs right now. She's going to look out for her people. She's not going to look out for us. Why are you trying to debate our identity? Worry about yourself. Al Kelly, that's right. EDEC says, I believe the Republicans got intricate attack campaign ready for Kamala Harris, and it's going to be ugly. Oh, yeah, I'm looking for, I already played one of the campaign videos. Maybe I'll play it again before this video's up, but I played it already. Go ahead and do a DNA test. Africa is 54. I don't care about 54 separate countries. I don't care to be linked to Africa. That ship has sailed. For River says, just the fact that Kamala and Biden flew in, housed, fed, supported illegal immigrants, while many Americans were losing their jobs, housing, going hungry during and after COVID makes her a traitor. That's what I'm saying. They're all traitors. So this is the decision that we can make. Choose a felon or a traitor. Which one do you choose? I choose a felon. I do not want nothing to do with a traitor, period. Ms. D says, we have no immediate family in 54 countries in Africa. We certainly do not. And again, I wish Africans well. I'm not a hateful person. I'm not Islamophobic, but I don't like people trying to bully and trying to pump or punk and force us to do something against our will. Nobody else is having this type of pressure and conversation. We ought not have it either.
Man, I mean, I like you, man. You always just being honest, man. Like,
because it's just like a small portion, but I know what you're talking about.
Oh, you mean a small portion? Is that what you're saying?
To Zongo's point, though, we're not going to say we're African. Let's be honest. That if you go to the average, hold on. I do. Go to the average black neighborhood.
No, like I said, a cookout where everybody knows.
No, hold on, Kyle. If you go to the average black neighborhood, black function, right? If you walk them, so are you African? We're not going to say no, I'm not African. Because right, because we've been in this country for what? 300, 400 years, most of us, right? It's just like in Congo. If you go to Jamaica, hold on. There's a lot of black people who say no. Hold on. I'm in the heart of Pan-Africanism, which is Philadelphia, probably the epic center of Pan-Africanism. Right? Hold on. And there's people in here that won't even say that, right? So I can only imagine if I go down south or Mississippi, right?
South, bro. These people are as African as you can get.
Hold on. If I go to Jamaica right now, they are not going to say they're African. Listen, if I go to Jamaica right now, they're not going to say, are you African? No, man. They're going to say they're Jamaican. The same thing that African Americans are saying.
Black people in the South, you know, here in North Carolina, you got these real light-skinned black people. They look like they're freaking pale, right?
Well,
they got African people.
But they're not going to say they're African, College.
You're lying. I think the problem is that we acknowledge we're African descent, but we're not African people. We're just not African.
Listen. Hold on. Let me let her. I ain't cutting any of y'all off, right? It's a town, I believe, in Suriname, right? And I think they're like a Dahomey village in Suriname, and Dahomey village, right? Mm-hmm. And the Wodimai was there. He was asking the people, "Are you guys Africans?" They said, "No, we're not Africans. They're from Suriname." It was like, we don't know nothing about Africa, right? Yeah, but it's always a problem when the African American, right, says, "Look, we're not African, but we're from America," right? Why is it pushback when we say
from America, but that don't mean we make us Americans?
No. College. Oh, you're doing semantics right now. It's semantics right now. Y'all doing semantics right now.
Guys, can you allow them to land? Let him land first.
Listen. Why is it a problem when African Americans or Black Americans say we're not African? But if I go all up and down this Western Hemisphere, I go to Colombia, I've been in Dominican Republic, I've been to all these different places, Haiti, they're not going to say they're African. They're going to say I'm Haitian. And so Black Americans are just saying, look, we're Black Americans. We're African Americans. What is the problem with that? What is the problem with that?
Exactly. Wait, Bill.
No, let's not go.
I'm not gonna talk much, right? I have issue like when you say like, we are policing the term African. No, we don't do that. When I came here, a lot of people say, oh no, they're not African. So if they tell me they're not African, I'm not gonna call them that. No, you are African. No, I don't do that.
Because we don't say that, right? I agree with you.
We don't say that. You know, I just call you by the way you want to be called. You know, it's just simple as that.
Right? Zonga, I sense you're a very young brother, right? I sense maybe you're in your 30s, so you don't know better. And it's not because it's not because
you can't do the age thing.
I have to because even the brother from Philadelphia, you just don't have the background. And
you can't.
Hold up. And I'm not trying to tell you that because I'm trying to be disparaging against you. I'm just trying to tell you from a fact, right? So. Do you know the story of the ugly duckling? Did they teach you that in school? There was an ugly duckling, that was out there playing around. You remember, Carla, the story?
Yes, when he realized that he was a swarm, when he found out who he was.
Exactly. So you're right when you say people don't say that they're Africans because they're the ugly ducklings and haven't found out who the hell they are.
That's crazy. No, stop. See,
no, it's not. It's not true.
See, that's a problem. Hold on.
We're not African.
Hold on. This is why.
We're not.
But bro, this is why Adolph's FDA makes a valid point, right? Because it's guys like the brother that was just speaking that said, the Black American don't know who they are, right? Because they're not saying they're African, right?
Yes.
The Black American. Hold on. The Black American knows who they are, right? They're probably the most documented human being on this earth outside of maybe the white American, right? Hold on. And this is why FDA ADOS is crushing Pan-Africanism in 2024 because you guys don't want to accept that.
All you have done is alienate. Let me say this. All FDA and ADOS people have done bunch of other black people to make people hate each other. You see white people out there saying, "You're an Irish." No, I'm an Italian. You know why? Because
they do it. They do it voluntarily.
White folks do it all the time.
They do it voluntarily.
Yeah, but guys, do it all the time. Yeah, but guys, you don't want to use white people as a yardstick of judgment.
We have to. But
you don't.
Do it all the time too. A guy
y'all be like, I'm Nigerian, I'm Ghanaian, I'm Senegalese.
It's a national. Wait. That's a national identity. That's not a.
Yeah, that's
bro. Ghana was afraid by Ghanaians, bro.
Everybody talks at one time.
Your national identity makes you American.
Listen, you can have all the national identities that you want. The bottom line is, until black people see themselves as black and African synonymously, we are going to continue to remain in the.
But we don't, and we won't. And Pan-Africans are going to have to accept that and move around, go away, period.
Mess that we're in here in America and on the continent, and other people, okay, while we fight amongst each other, are going to exploit us for our stupidity.
Wow. Brother, you exploit your own self for your own stupidity when you claim to be.
Now check out this commercial by this black melanated person. I'm not quite sure who she is. She's rapping a hip hop song for Kamala, again talking about she's black and all this type of stuff. Look at the propaganda of what's about to happen to us. We're going to be flooded with this mess right here, what I'm talking about.
I'ma do. Now that she running with Biden, I'm biting you mad and you whack a black woman made you. She reppin' AKs, I'm reppin' DST, but we are all the same. Call it Greek unity. She is my sister and I am her pusher. If it ain't black excellence, it is irrelevant. It's Kamala, not Kamala. Put some respect on her name. Past time to stop dissing black women. We be fighting villains just for existence. Like Obama, they wonder she all the way black. Graduated from Howard, forgot about that. Discrediting her record, no context of facts. Judging like you, God, need to fall back. Deflecting disrespect and ask yourself why. Do powerful women eat you up inside, huh? Why you wanna hate on Kay Harris? You the one mediocre, but you acting like she average. Your accomplishments amount to petty Instagram spatting. Why she all up in the Senate spitting facts straight battle? And now I ain't saying that she perfect, but I'm 1,000% that she worth it. Because we come from the same cloth. I'm historically black. We coming for it all. The woman is from
this same cloth, huh? This is the shit right here that I'm talking about. Check it out.
unforgettable living history. Our ancestors' wildest dreams, taking a stand for men like you and me is not a decision I gotta contemplate. Kamala to make America great. Kamala to make America great. Kamala will make America great. Kamala will make America great. Kamala, ooh, I'm so lit, I don't know what I'ma do. Now that she running.
And she ain't getting shit if Kamala goes to office. That's just it. And she's going to feel like a big ass dumb bird. A crash dummy is what she is right here in this rap song. But this is what we have to look forward to, just propaganding us to death.
Biting, I'm vibing, you mad and you whack a black woman made you. She reppin' AKs, I'm reppin' DST, but we are all the same, call it Greek unity. She is my sister and I am her pusher. If it ain't black excellence, it is irrelevant.
Oh, God. To change my mind from that ridiculousness, let's look at the other video for EDEC. And for others that may not have seen the response video that Trump just came out with, where to go? Okay, this video right here is fire. This is the truth. This is fire because it's truthful. This is what Kamala's on, and this is why we cannot let her get away with what she's getting away with.
This is the Jim Heath Channel playlist of 2024 campaign ads.
I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. You're considered the most liberal United States senator. Actually, the nonpartisan GovTrack has rated you as the most liberal senator.
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
We are going to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals. That's correct. That is correct. A lot of the signs at the rally you just held were people standing there saying, abolish ICE. Yeah, that's a position that you agree with. We need to probably think about starting from scratch.
So you support giving
universal health care, Medicare for all people who are in this country illegally.
I am opposed to any policy that would deny in our country any human being public health, period. Are you for defunding the police? How are you defining defund the police? It's actually wrong and backward to think that more police officers will create more safety. We need to get rid of money bail.
Convicted in prison, like the Boston Marathon bomber, on death row, people who are convicted of sexual assault, they should be able to vote.
I think we should have that conversation. I am prepared to get rid of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal. I have always supported Medicare for all. I was very happy to sign on to Bernie's bill, and I give Bernie, frankly, a lot of credit. There's no question I'm in favor of banning crack. Do you ban plastic straws? I think we should.
A freaking joke, y'all. That's what she is a freaking joke. And so as we debate on whether or not she's black, again, our own ethnicity is being toyed with, bashed about. People are trying to bully us into claiming to be African. We have never claimed ourselves as African. So why is it a surprise that we still don't claim ourselves as Africans? For the few that are Pan-Africans that came into this new mindset, ideology, have at it. Do you find other people that believe in what you want to do and go do it? But they keep putting our name or insinuating us in titles and having platforms talking about Black Americans every waking moment that they get. And this is why I have to do these type of videos to showcase the ignorance of our people and not understanding who we are as people, which I believe is Indigenous, Black, American.
But you exploit your own self for your own stupidity when you claim to be something that you're not.
Yeah,
we're not listen. As much as we may want to be, we're not the same people that got off the boats.
So
we're just not. We're descendants of different people. We got white in us, we got native in us, we got African in us.
How much white do you have in you?
Brother, you want to go by the little percentage, you can do that word game all you want. But I can't stand up and tell my wife, you know what, you got European and you know the fuck she don't.
Could you answer the question?
You don't, if you're not 100% something, you can't claim to be 100%. You want to be a full African and you're not.
What white people accept you as a white person?
You want to claim a full African identity and you're not that.
Well, African Americans are Africans. You know, that's what I see it.
And they also, the other day, let's say, Makala,
your opinions doesn't reflect the opinions of the majority.
I think it was a lady voice. Let the lady voice in.
Well, Chantal, let's go ahead. So we can say this.
Greetings, everybody on the panel in the chat. So I want to ask this question real quick. In my lineage, on my mom's side, my mother's mother, which is my grandma, her mother, my great-grandmother, her mother, my great-great-grandmother is full-blooded Cherokee.
Everybody got Cherokee.
Let me get it out. She's full-blood Cherokee. She raised my grandmother and them, my great-grandma and my grandmother and them on the reservation in Louisiana. Now, hold on. My daddy's side, my great-grandpa is biracial with white. So I identify as an African-American woman, not native nor biracial or white.
That's why I look at your picture. That's what you are.
Right. No, I'm just a black woman, right?
You're a black woman. You're just a black woman. You know, I can't. There's no ambiguity, anything.
Even though I have that bloodline in me, I am a Black American woman.
Well, check this out. The African blood, you kick the hell out of that blood in you.
Okay, so my point is, we may have a lineage from Africa, but we are no longer Africans.
Now, what are we now? Zebras?
No, we are admixture.
Why would you compare us to an animal, bro?
How many on the panel say we Africans and how many don't?
Yeah, admixture people.
I'm an African.
Not a white
Dollar Bill's an African. Yeah, but she's right.
African all day.
She is correct. She is correct.
No,
listen, she is correct. The average African American
has about 25% European. You're not gonna find that. Hold on. The average, right? I'm saying the average, right? And a lot of us have. And some of us have.
They say
hold on, can I finish? Hold on, can I finish?
I think it's like
I'm gonna switch it up.
You know what the problem is, right? All of y'all can acknowledge that if you seen an African person walking down the street, you would know that person is African. Why is that?
Yeah, because they look differently.
So we don't look the same as our African counterparts. Because we're different.
When I'm in Liberia, I can't tell who's Liberian.
Why do self-hate Negroes come on Pan-African spots?
Brother, you a self-hated Negro.
The reason why people come on the platforms because you guys got the title of our social media identity in the title, talking about us, and they don't think that we're supposed to show up and check them. They just want to talk about us and say how dumb we are, how stupid we are, how we're not a good for nothing, how we are denial of this and that and the other. And we are tired of hearing the rhetoric. That's why we're now coming on platforms.
We deny the fact that you're not the same as the people that you want to be.
How could you be a foundational when Plymouth Rock landed on you? How you gonna be a foundational?
That's that old school. Hold on, brother. You come with that.
You're trying to be Malcolm X, bro. Even Malcolm X said that we're not the same people as the people that we came from.
That is not true. That is not true.
Hey, we got new information now, y'all. Listen, we got new information now.
You have no new information.
We have new information now, right? Malcolm X, that information was 60 years ago, right? But listen, hold on. The point I'm trying to say is, brother, listen, hold on, brother.
What generation has it?
No, brother. But the point I'm trying to say is African American people in America, right, are a distinct native population, right? Right? If I go to Haiti, hold on. If I go to Haiti, listen. If I go to Haiti right now, right, and get a sample, let's say I take one Haitian, right, he might have up to 90%, 95% Nigerian alone DNA in him, right? You will rarely find an African American that has 95% Nigerian DNA. You're not going to find that. You're not going to find that.
Every night.
The point. Okay, the point. I'm gonna give you my point. Hold on. I'm gonna give you my point. Hold on. I'm gonna give you my point. The reason why I said that, right? Because if you look at a certain part of the Caribbean, they got Africans from particular regions, whereas America, right? It was a vast range of African diversity, right? All the way from Gambia, all the way down to the Congo. You even got Africans that came from Madagascar, all right? So you get, hold on. So what I'm saying, you're getting in America, you had a diverse African population, whereas some Caribbean countries got specific regions, right? And the reason why I say this, because you also got European in the African American. You also got native blood in the African American, right?
And we don't say that we have European and Indian blood just so that we are worshiping that other blood. It's just that we know it's there. And we're not in denial that it is there. That's all we're saying. We're not worshiping European blood. We're not saying, ooh, I've been touched by Europeans. I'm not full-fledged African. I have white in me. No, it's just acknowledging the truth. People want to say, oh, we're trying to be white, or we want to dissociate ourselves from Africa. We've been dissociated from Africa for generations. What are you talking about? People want to try to remix the narrative of what has always been. We have never been one people anymore. We are our own specific identity group that people are fighting us tooth and nail not to have our own specific identity group. And I'm against those that feel like we should not have our own ethnicity here as Indigenous Black Americans. Everybody else has their own. We should also be able to have our own. Simple and plain.
We are an amalgam. Hold on. African Americans. Let me finish, bro.
Nobody just tell you because you're lying.
Hold on.
And I wish, Kala, if you would not get your stupid ass panel together. All you men on this platform are embarrassing. Who would follow y'all? No woman. You guys can't even let other people complete their thought of thinking, their thoughts, because you're stumbling onto their words and trampling on what they're saying. And get those idiots together, Kala. You look like you don't know how to open your mouth and say something.
Americans, hold on, bro. Listen, let me hold on, yo, come on, man. Come on, yo, calm down. Listen, I'm done here. 2 seconds.
Okay,
hold on,
2 seconds. Jamal, finish up, then Dalville.
Yeah, 2 seconds. Listen, all I'm saying is African Americans are an amalgamation, right? It's an amalgamation of European, African descent of many regions in Africa, a wide vast from the Congo to all the way to Gambia, right? And native indigenous peoples, right? And we have to accept that we're not of the soil of Africa. Go ahead.
So I hope that is clear on what I mean about so many different people assume that we shouldn't have an ethnicity here in America. It's very deplorable and disrespectful to assume that we should not claim an identity that's specifically our own to claim. But somehow immigrants and the likes of Harris and other immigrants that know doggone well who they are, where they came from, still feel the need to try to dictate and usurp our identity for their own personal usage and gain. And we're sick of that game being played. So speaking about Harrison, I found a really good video of O'Shea Duke Jackson, who really broke down what Kamala is about. And I want to play that. Again, him her disrespecting our lineage, claiming to be us when it's convenient to do. I am totally against Harris because, again, if you can lie about who you are, what else could you lie about? A number of things.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another.
Let me fast forward.
American community, we can be a little bit disgruntled when we are encountering some of our brothers from the diaspora, African or Caribbean. And the reason
there ain't no such thing as diaspora. We're not a part of the diaspora. We don't have a home country in Africa nor no other landmass. We're from America. And people keep on trying to push this diaspora on us, these Pan-Africans. That's what O'Shea Duke Jackson is claiming to be himself.
Is because, well, some people want to be us, but not be us. And when I'm talking about that, I mean Barack Obama or Kamala Harris. These people who are pretending to be African Americans when they really don't want to be African Americans, but it fits the bill. Let's look at Barack Obama. He's Kenyan, half white, with an anti-black agenda. He's married to an African American lady. But you will see Barack Obama doing stuff like this.
How sweet the sound.
The same get up that Obama did is what Kamala is attempting to do. The same bullshit, and people are so easily impressed. This is how impressed we were back when. And I hope that the spell falls off from us. We cannot be bedazzled and hexed to believe any of these people anymore.
That's Barack Obama's fail at singing Amazing Grace. And then there's now Kamala Harris. I mean, most of her success has come through the African American community. If it wasn't Dayton Willie Brown or Montel Williams, I mean, I don't know how else she could have got on. She went to Howard University. I mean, don't you see her with these big gold earrings looking like salt and pepper back in the late 80s, early 90s? I mean, the whole swag was stolen from our community. And that's interesting because Howard University is a private institution founded in D.C. for African Americans who couldn't go to white schools. And nobody knows that more than Kamala Harris. But when she was a presidential candidate in 2020, this is what Kamala Harris said about reparations.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
Okay.
She's not intending to benefit us ever. She already put it out there. You already can tell she does not mean us any good. She's not going to benefit us not one iota. She's going to run to the Oval Office and turn her back on us and shit on us as soon as she can.
Fair enough. You want to just do everything for America, not include anybody from the black community. I get it, because all tides lift all boats, right? But check this out. Tariq Nasheed shared some information today I just really couldn't believe. In these clips, as an African American, it really gets under my gears. Let's check out the first one.
What you get? So, do you know music? Okay, so first of all, Charlie Mingus, really one of the greatest jazz performers ever. One of my favorite albums of all time. Roy Ayers, Everybody Loves Sunshine. You know this one? So good. It's a classic.
Again, pandering to us, using trivial amounts of money to pander to us, again, but while giving everybody else tangibles, everybody else guarantees, but we get this shit right here.
And then Twinkle Bells, right? And this is a beautiful one. It's Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong. Okay, there you go.
Now, this is Kamala Harris, showing her love for African-American musicians, buying these particular records. Okay, that ain't that bad, right? But let's check out this next one.
Hey, Marlon, so I know how to make a mean pot of greens. In fact, people used to ask me to make greens for them for Christmas. One year, I had so many that I had to wash that we ended up washing them in the bathtub. So I am not playing around. So what you got?
Oh, she makes a mean pot of greens. All of this, all of that. That's crazy, right? This is a.
Do y'all believe her that she's gonna make a mean pot of greens? Do y'all believe the lies in which she spews? Because she got plenty more to tell us, a lot more to tell us, lies.
Who basically is not African American, but here you are trying to attach to the culture because you know what? It makes you look good. That's crazy.
And I call this bastardizing our culture. We don't need her pretending to be our culture. She has her own. Why can't you choose your Indian culture to do? Again, to pander to us to get our vote and to discard us like a dirty, wet toilet paper.
Too, a lot of black women are giving Kamala Harris money, and that's fine. But you know what? Kamala Harris ain't Jew. And it's not because Kamala Harris is half Jamaican, half Caribbean. I mean, you got white people that grew up in the black community that's more black than Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris also ain't Jew because she don't think with the same mind. But you want to pretend to be just like us and then vote against us. That's what I don't like. And this is what I want to talk about.
Not only vote against us, but work against us. And all her policies is going to make our life a living hell. Y'all mark my words. Please don't vote this woman in office under no circumstance.
About. I don't have a problem for the people who are hashtag FBA haters or, like I said, you don't like African Americans. Now I want to talk about something I really don't talk about a lot, which is why is it important to have hashtag FBA or hashtag ADOS?
It's important because we need to maintain our own identity separate from all the immigrant groups that come over here and now they're cosplaying us, usurping our ID and hijacking our identity. That's why the need for ADOS, FBA, declaring yourself your own identity, indigenous, comfortable doing, get it notary declared, tell people who you are versus what people are trying to tell us who we are. But this is ADOS's founder, one of them, and she's going to explain why she feels we need to have our separate identity.
Ain't nobody been around here judging her blackness. What we have judged is her lineage and her attachment to American descendants of slaves. She has a Jamaican parent and an Indian parent, and neither of those parents is an American DOS, descendant of chattel slavery in this country. Not everywhere slavery. We know that was slavery in other parts of the world. But if you're in the Caribbean or one of those places, if you're in Haiti, then your issue, as we've said here many a times, is with the French. And if you ever get reparations from the French, I will clap, I will be happy, I will throw you a party, I will buy you a drink, baby, but I will not try to take your money. I will not try to eat that fruit, because I don't have no bones buried in Haiti. My bones is buried in here. I celebrate you. I will help you.
But no other group of people feel that way. They don't have no bones buried here or nothing like that. But they still act like they do. They want to act like everything that happened here happened to them when they weren't here until recently. And this is why we feel like we need to delineate, because people are not respecting our history. They're not respecting our identity. They're not respecting anything. So we're going to have to force them to respect us.
I understand that is yours, and I think you understand that too. So the real issue is, just like I'm not Jamaican, just like I'm not Haitian, just like I'm not Eritrean, you are not American DOS. You do not have parents and grandparents who grew up on sharecropper farms who can trace their stuff back to slavery. You do not have that. So what that means is that you are not a part of this tribe. That don't mean you are not black. It means you are not a part of this tribe.
And she also stated this, Yvette Carnell, with Mark Lamont Hill.
Talk to me about that claim right there. Wealth is plundered, wealth must be repaid. That is the fundamental argument of reparations for most folk, myself included. But a lot of times where we get stuck is the details of what kind of plunder we're talking about, what kind of money it takes to repair the damage done, who gets it, and how they get it. So talk to me a little bit about ADOS's policy vision as it pertains to reparations.
Well, the ADOS Advocacy Foundation, we are committed to cash payments. And we are committed to cash payments to a specific group of people, right? And those are American descendants of slavery. Now, we have a transformative Black agenda that includes all Black people. But in terms of reparations, those are the people that built the country that have been systemically, methodically oppressed since then.
Even though I believe that, these social media identities are cool and all that, because she does not take it off of YouTube, off of social media, and make it formally, officially known to the government, where they name us by name and whatnot, I feel like she is playing in our face. And so I don't really rock with ADOS or FBA, but the concept is a good idea. I think that it does bring about more pride within us, because again, having our identity bastardized does not produce pride or confidence in us at all. That's why people are so scatterbrained right now, confused on who they are, because they're trying to figure out how to get confidence and pride within themselves.
You have to have a method not only for cash payments, but for programs to protect that wealth. Because you can give wealth to a group of people, and then that money is plundered by white supremacy and super capitalists who would like nothing more than to take it away from us. So we have to have certain protections, but we absolutely have to have cash payments. And this absolutely has to be a federal government initiative in terms of how we do this and how we have outlets.
Again, do we deserve reparations? Yes. Do I believe we're going to get them? I more than likely no. I think that they're going to keep using reparation talk as a carrot. I don't want to be manipulated and controlled. So I'm not thinking about reparations at this point. If it happens, I'll be happy, but am I going to hold my breath? No.
And appropriations and things of that nature. It has to happen that way.
And again, I'm not here causing division, but these people got to be called out. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm over here in Uganda right now, okay? Let me go around and start wearing too much cultural garb in the country. Most people will be okay with it, but you're going to have somebody in the diaspora from Africa saying, I need to stop trying to pretend to be them and represent my group. I mean, that's what happens with some of the African brothers when Wakanda came out.
And when we tell them to do the same thing, then they like, why are we being divisive? When they have their own identities, why can't they respect the fact that they have their own identity? Think about that, Africans and immigrants and Caribbeans, whomever you are. Why do you feel like we are not deserving to have our own? What is wrong with you assuming that we don't deserve anything to have on our own? I really want y'all to think about that.
And again, this is not all brothers and sisters from the African continent, but you hear it all the time. Nicki Minaj got mad at Michael B. Jordan when he started a rum company named after something from Trinidad. Oh, you messing with our Caribbean.
And made him not produce the liquor in her whatever Caribbean name. Had him not do it because he's not a part of that culture. And he obliged. But how many times can we tell y'all to stop using African Americans and y'all actually stop? Or use Black Americans and y'all actually stop?
In culture, all of this. But then Nicki Minaj has made a killing cosplaying Black women, Black people. But at the same time, you got a problem with somebody cosplaying you. But if I'm going to cosplay you or pretend to be you.
And it's like, do as I say, not as I do. They think that they can son us. They think that there are overlords. They think that they can pimp us and bully us. And I'm sick of these immigrants getting away with this shit. This is why I'm calling this out. I'm showcasing how fucked up it is that immigrants think that they got it like that. And you don't.
I will at least do it in a way that represents your interests. How is Kamala Harris going to pretend to be African American, trying to trick the people when you against the people you want to be? So you want to just use the community for
definitely against Black Americans for sure. Again, I will be doing more videos about Kamala, keeping up with what's going on because it's not too far away before these elections, and we have got to expose this woman to the fullest. So for those that want to stay up on, you know, the greater news about Kamala Harris, please subscribe to this channel. Please like and share the video. More of these types of videos are coming where I'm showcasing Kamala and her true nature. I feel that Trump is the man, and I will also be doing videos about Trump as well moving forward. Let's go.
Benefit now, these Blacks I have a big issue with. And like I said, and Africans would have a big issue with me if I was over here pretending to be like I was Ugandan and they're pretending to be I was Ghanaian or Nigerian, and then at the same time I'm against their interests. They would have a big problem with that, and they would tell me take my ass home. But you do have.
But people want us to try to pretend to be African so they can have our dollars. They're like, oh yeah, go ahead and try to be us and give us your money. We'll take that. We'll take that. What are the Africans expected to do while they're taking our money? What about the billionaires and the millionaires of Africans that refuse to help out Africa, but they expect Black Americans to take the place of those Africans and help out Africa? Think about the hypocrisy of all that, y'all.
Blacks in America are in the world that benefit off of African-American culture, only they want to undermine it. And Kamala Harris is trying to undermine our group. I don't like that stuff. And again, this is not against all the brothers and sisters.
Not only undermine, but use and abuse our group. Bastardize our group and then spit us out and run to the sunset with a victory and turn around and spit in our faces. And I really don't want to see us being treated like that. This is why I'm going hard against Kamala Harris, because I really don't want to see her win to treat us any kind of way. That's why.
Out there, I love many of y'all. I have met y'all, and I'm still a person that supports Pan-African interests. Just like Yvette Carnell said, hey, we have.
And I am anti-Pan-African. So just know that in advance. For those that don't know, I do not believe in Pan-Africanism. It is an ideology that's a falsehood. That's not material. For real, in any capacity on any continent, wherever you go, where Blacks or so-called melanated people are running their countries, it looks like a shithole most of the time. Only a few exceptions to the rule. And there's a lot more stuff that's coming that's going to pretty much cause Africans to do more protesting and more demonstrations, and God knows what's going to happen when they do all of that, which is coming up more and more behind the Kenyan people, the Gen Z, having their demonstrations. And they showed a lot of confidence and pride in representing themselves. And they're trying to spark other people to join in the festivities of what the Kenyans have done. In fact, in August, Nigerians supposed to protest. I believe Ugandans attempted to protest, and I think that they got arrested. A lot of them, they are making it harder for them to protest in Uganda, where he is, Oshedu Jackson. But this continued protesting and demonstration of the corruptness that's going on in these countries is going to keep happening. And I'm just not in the business of putting Africa on a pedestal, because for what? A lot of them are corrupt, and I'm not doing it. So let me see what you guys are saying. Then I'm going to conclude this video. I really appreciate everybody for listening to this video and coming out and support of me. Where was I? What's up, Leonard? How you doing? Thank you for coming through. I really appreciate you. I'm going to go back up. Let's see. I can't read all of them, unfortunately, because there's so many of them. My goodness. Charles said, I first need a passport to be able to be called that. I've never even been in Africa. How can I be called something I've never been? Exactly, Charles. It just doesn't make sense that people are trying to, badger us to death. Pinky says, just don't tell us who we are. You don't have to agree with us. We don't want you to. Exactly. We're not trying to be disagreeable. We just want to agree to disagree. That's all we have to do, is agree to disagree. We're not trying to badger you about your identity. Don't badger us about us. Just leave our ethnicity alone and respect your own identities. People, please. Mr. Uganda says, Mr. Mansa Musa sent over ships to the Americas a few hundred years before Columbus got to the now Caribbean. That would put it around 1200 through 300. I guess 300s. Okay. African Goddess says, as the mother of two half Jamaican children, my belief is even if we originally came from the same place, time and history have changed that. There are major cultural differences. And yeah, that's facts right there. You said that is 16 to 17 generations back, Mr. Uganda says. What are the names of those ships that you're talking about? Charles asked. By 16 to 17 generations, you could have 65K ancestors, Mr. Uganda says. Charles Harvey says, because I'm a researcher, I love the research, so tell me those ships' names. I don't know them. Maybe somebody else can tell you. Mr. Uganda says, especially if the lifespan per generation was shorter. Pinky says, African bred out hundreds of years ago. If you take a lion and breed it with a tiger, it's not going to be a lion completely. It's not going to be a tiger completely. It's going to be a combination of both, a bigger type of cat. And if that cat that's bred with the lion and a tiger has sex with another type, it's going to be a whole nother cat. That's what we ended up becoming. I'm just using that as an example. We're not animals, but we're just a different group of people. And that's okay. We're specifically unique. That should be okay. But people are finding fault with us, claiming everything about us and saying, oh, you want to claim rapes and you want to claim this. I want to claim everything that I am. I'm not ashamed of nothing. And people are mad that we're not ashamed. Like they want us to walk around with our head held low. And we're not doing that. You said it's taking you too long to find those ship names, my brother or sister. Miss D, I know who I am, passed down from my father and grandfather. I know I am from Jerusalem. They told me about my past and their past. I have 0 white European. I have been tested. Okay, if that's the truth, good luck with that, Al Kelly. Mr. Uganda says, if someone has 65K ancestors between the date you are citing to now, Al Kelly, then why would you expect them to pick the African ancestor? That's what I'm saying. Again, our ancestor was flicked onto a supposed ship, treated like garbage, left for dead. If they managed to survive to make it all the way here to America, they were discarded like trash. I am my ancestors, all of them. The buck stops with me and my family here in America. We don't look back. We look present tense and forward. That's how you keep your sanity. We can't be all over the place. We can't do that. That doesn't make sense. We ain't been doing it. So why are people expecting us to do it now? We have been in Africa 500 years, and DNA and culture change. We have white, Indian, and Asian. Yes, we do. Leonard says, command me. Charles says, Nina, Pinta, Santa Maria, are these the ships you're talking about? Because if so, you're wrong, Charles says. Miss D says, we have our own culture after years and we're fine with it. Exactly. We should not feel bad about anything at this point. Pinky says, where are the slave ships that those people came to America on? We have museums full of dinosaur bones, but no slave ships. That's what I've always wondered. And where did they keep all that water for all that travel with all those so-called people and food? Where do they store all that stuff? It does not match up. The numbers are not mathing. Something is amiss. And I think that most of us were already here and were made into slaves and reclassified against our will. That's what I think happened. Again, if there is one or two ancestors that came from Africa, congratulations. So what? I am my ancestors. Those ancestors are gone. If you want to go and exhume those bones and bodies of ancestors of old, then have at it. But you're not having me. Okay. Mr. Uganda, my family never mixed. My family looked close to the San tribe people. Okay. That's interesting. Charles says eventually we will be one solid color except for those that choose to divide. Think about that. We're already choosing to divide. We've been divided, Charles. Mr. Uganda says, where are you from? Direct ethnic background to Al Kelly. Charles says, I'm from Louisiana and most of us don't know who we are. Yes, we do. You don't know who you are. Speak for yourself. We know who we are. We're good enough with just being American and we're from America. That's all we need to know. And we don't care to know anything else. It's not that imperative. For what? Pinky says, if your lineage in America is back to slavery, you didn't have a choice. About mixing, breeding was big business. That's what I'm saying. It's like a lot of the stuff that happened, we could not help it. I'm not going to feel guilted behind my lineage and behind other races of blood coursing through my veins. God allowed me to survive. So I'm here and I am my ancestors. We are not impressed. That's the boule most of us see through the BS. Exactly, Miss D. She's a whole mimic. Leonard says, yes, Kamala Harris is a trip. Let me see. The theatrics of Kamala is shameful. Yes, it is. Like the obvious video op just after buying records. Exactly. Kamala not listening to Roy Ayers. Her white husband does, I'm sure. Kamala has no shame, Pinky says. That's right. The Hindu phony says she celebrates Kwanza. That's what I'm saying. Come on. That's like, they don't even have no qualms lying to us. Like everybody treats us like children. You know how when you're a child and people talk about Santa Claus and Merry Christmas and all that, the Santa Claus is coming in the chimney and presents and food and all that. That's how they treat us. They feed us fantasy stories, fantasy belief of what they're going to do for us without promising us anything. Oh, we'll see about it after I get in office. We'll talk to you then. They treat us like that, y'all. That's unacceptable. This is 2024. This is the election that's the most important above all others because it depends on whether or not America will survive. That's how important this election is. The only green she makes is money, Mr. Uganda says. Exactly. Kamala said it worked for Obama. It'll work for me. Pinky says, exactly. She probably puts curry on her greens. That's why it's mean. You funny for that, Charles. Kamami cooks toucan kale. Mr. Uganda says, perhaps she will secure the Caribbean and Asian vote. I'm pretty sure most immigrants are going to pick her because everybody already knows Trump already forecast once he gets in office, he's dealing with the illegals. He's dealing with the border. So if you don't want to have our country back, then you're going to choose Kamala. If you choose to have our, right when I said that, y'all, that had to happen. Ain't that something? Anyways, but yeah, choosing Trump would be securing the border and getting our country back in order. Choosing Kamala means you want it destroyed. That's what you're choosing to do if you choose Kamala. She does not have the expertise. She's not very smart. She's not convincing, and she's not fooling anybody. You said, I wonder about O'Shea. His real name sounds Caribbean. He might be cosplaying. I asked him to his face years ago on this other platform called Uncle Shug, was he an African? And he said no. And then 3 years later, he says he's African now, or he's Pan-African now, and now he's acting as if he's African. It's very interesting. Yvette Carnell makes a lots of sense. Yeah, she does. I like what she talks on. It's just that it has not moved past YouTube. How can I put faith if you're just on social media? I just can't put myself to believe in that. Leonard says, I vote for Yvette before I even ever vote for Kamami or Cheeto Santa. You call him Cheeto Santa, Satan rather, Cheeto Satan. Oh my God. Pinky says, our fault. We get no respect. Our men should have been gatekeeping like other groups of men do. They failed us, Pinky. Most of these men have tapped out. They're grabbing their ankles and they're taking it in, you know what. I'm seeing all this commentary, but who are y'all voting for in November? Trump or no vote? That's what it's going to be, Shayna. Trump or no vote. Good luck, Charles. Michael should have made that rum. I would be drinking it now, Pinky says. I think he's making the rum still. He just is not using the name of what the Caribbean name that he was trying to use for his liquor. So Nicki Minaj made him change it or drop the name that he was going to use, which is like everybody think that they can do that to us. And it's just like, but she cosplays us every day. Mr. Uganda says, where is Nicki Minaj actually from background wise? Somewhere from the Caribbean. I think Trinidad. I think she's Trinidadian, if I'm saying it right. Curry and Greens is funny. I know that's right. I know who I'm voting for. I just want to understand if the purpose of the convo is to discourage voting, period, or support Trump. I would say if he is the person that's gonna, because I don't know if his trial, I think he has another trial that's still pending. I don't know if it's gonna have any ill effect to him being able to carry forward. And if something gets in the way where he cannot become the nominee for whatever reason, then I'm not voting. But I want to vote for Trump because I know that he's serious about the border. And I know that day one, he's not going to be playing around. He's not going to be messing around. And I think that we need that. What Kamala's going to do is have celebrations and have the border kept open. And everybody's just going to have a liberal fest party with all kinds of wickedness going on. And can you imagine what type of party you're going to be imagining they're going to be having? I don't want to be there. I don't want to see that. Charles says, she says she don't even date her own kind. She only likes dark-skinned men. That's what she prefers. And she doesn't even like her own native tradition. She loved ours. This is her last time I heard her say. What? That was Nicki Minaj words? Again, how easy it is for people just to drop whatever they want and call bastardize our culture. And then they turn around and talk shit about our culture and they talk shit about us. That's the issue. Miss D says African and Caribbeans do this. American use our identity and go against our interests. That's what they do. That's what we're noticing right now. Leonard says none of them wanted to label black, but now all of a sudden they're trying to shenge us, F-O-H. I don't know if that means shenge us. Shenge us? What does that mean? Spirit says, why is it so hard for people to say we're not all one, Spirit? That's why it's so hard not to say, because that's not the truth. Leonard says they want command me to lead them into World War III. That's exactly what will happen. Russia will be salivating, and other leaders around the globe will test America beyond recognition. And I really don't want to see that happen to America. Pinky says Yvette Carnell is having an ADOS conference in October. But when is she going to go to the Capitol Hill? When is she going to go to the Black Caucus? When is she going to be seen and heard in any capacity with the government? Nowhere. I've seen she's been talking about ADOS since 2018 that I can recall. Mr. Uganda says Nikki should jump onto making Ritus for business. What is that? I tried one from a Trini stall over here, and it was very nice. I don't even know what that is. And Monique says, trust and believe if Kamala wins, she will not ever mention anything about Jamaica. Go figure. She's not going to mention anything but Indian people, because that's what she really is. So in closing, y'all, like I said, cosplaying, bastardizing Black Americans' identity is what Kamala Harris is doing for the benefit of her supposed nominee to become president. And I'm not cool with it. So I hope that people would go back, watch the video some more, do some research on Kamala Harris. I'm definitely going to be trying to figure out some more information on her as time goes on. And I will update y'all as I find out certain things that maybe I'm not aware of now. But I hope that you guys would appreciate the video by liking it and sharing it. I need to go take my dog out to the bathroom, so I'm going to have to conclude this video. Thank y'all for coming through. Please like and share the video. Trust and believe. Okay, yeah, I said that already. Okay. Thank y'all for coming through, and bless up. Have a nice, lovely Sunday.